Yo. Yeah. All right. Tell a friend to tell a friend we're live again in the Lions Den where the vibes don't end, but with the wicked then winner. Mix and blend. Yeah, shout out the haters. They turned up for this one still. Shout out the 15 family in the building and the 25 pagans still. Yeah. Big up everyone in the place. You don't know where it is. Yeah, this one should be an interesting one still. Let's go. Oh, go on. Let me see who's in the building, though. All right. Wow. Everyone's here early, yeah? What are you saying? The family's here early. Mad thing. Yeah. Big shout out to the 21 likes. Come on, family. Come on.
Yeah, we've got to do
Come on.
justice, man.
Come on. Big shout out to the 23 likes. Come on, family. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Let's have it. That must have annoyed some people still. Yeah, if it offended you, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Put the ones up if you're get in there, my son. Come on. Yo. Big up. Put your ones up if you're here, man. Put your ones up if you're here for this one. If you're here for this conversation. I know some people are scared of this conversation. You get me? Yeah. Let truth and rights be victorious. You get me? And let all lies be exposed still. You know what man's on. Big up here and there. I see you. Bradley, Miss Goddard, Jordan M, Shuab, Nas TV Temp, Guys Triller, Weed, ADY Demonize, Harlem Malik, Dean MIA, It's Ahmed, King H, Man Like H, TNTS Greek, Zoe, Cash, Saramanda White, LC, Carleen Thompson, Bradley Wilkinson, Mad Ting, Hassan Khalil, Queen J. Yeah. Big shout out to the 29 likes. What you saying? Catch up thing. Before they even heard what come out my mouth, 10 people had come and tried to hate. Shout out all of you that's burning inside your chest. I'm glad I got that effect on you still, because it means you got a wicked heart still. Call me. I might sometimes be misguided or you know what I'm saying? But yeah. Yeah, James just messaged you ready. He's just setting up now still. I'm more than ready. Let them know we're more than ready. Yeah? Let them know we're born ready. Big shout out to the 39 likes. What you say? We flying up. Yes. Tell a friend to tell a friend we're live again in the Lions Den where the vibes don't end, but with the wicked then winner. Mad. It's mad move. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, look out for some big G grinders works. Yeah. So that's why we're starting up. I beg you pass one of them there, cause this is how man have to. Yo, this ain't a big deal for me either, White Winter. I can't lie. It's just good to talk to someone that's not like fully retarded, like, you know, the pigeon. and the rest of them. Still, Dave and all of these guys. At least man's gonna actually string a sentence. You get me? I want a challenge. Like beating up all of these right wingers intellectually, I don't see it as anything big because, you know, Dave ain't got no IQ. He's not even rated by his own people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad to debate you lot or someone put on a little pedestal. That's all it is. Nah, Rich can't come back to this channel. Rich has got to stay where he is still. I see him talking was on my name just earlier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so anyone who wants to purchase the Hustlers Holy Book, you know what I'm saying? I just put the Amazon link in the chat. We're going to start doing shows reviewing the actual book. You know what I'm saying? That's a book that really woke me up to a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But yeah, big up the 53 likes in the place. Big up the family, man. You get me? We have to fully start. You know what I'm saying? The camera had to come on for this one. You have to see facial expressions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're gonna have to see. You're gonna have to see the. Yeah. You're gonna have to see all of that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Bugs and Greek in the building, literally.
Come
you know what I'm saying?
In the dance.
Like, yeah. Well, go on. You been saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah, chilling. Looking forward to it. Still, let's have it, innit?
Let's have it. Come on, my son. Let's go. I might have to bring Raspect Robinson out on this one. You know what I'm saying?
Have it, mate.
It's gonna be an interesting conversation because anyone who's been watching my channel, knows that like James Goddard's literally gone from like Tommy Robinson's civic nationalism to like a more Mark Collette ethno nationalism. And like anyone who's been watching me for the last 7 months knows that I've been predicting this movement. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it'll be interesting still. I want to ask him about the tan thing. You know what I'm saying? A couple other little bits. You get me? Shout out Simon. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. You ready, yeah? All right. Give me 2 secs. Give me 2 secs. All right. All right. But yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend we're live again in the lines, then where the vibes don't end, but with the wicked then when I make sound blend. 1 minute, let me just quickly. Give me 2 secs, people. Let me give him a call. This phone's a pestilence still. It's a pestilence. Yeah, load up the cannon, man. Load up the cannon, cuz. 1 minute. Give me 2 secs. One minute. Huh? 1 minute. Give me 2. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'll try this way. Yeah, we said we're gonna cross stream, innit? Okay. You go live and you can either click my StreamYard link or I can click yours. Yeah, go live and then let me know. All right, cool. I'm gonna phone you back in 2 secs once you're live, and then I'll show you how to link it up. All right, bless. All right. Yeah. Big up the 64 likes. You get me? James is just preparing now. So it's definitely going down in the dunya. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, big up the whole family inside. Big up everyone in the building. The link's in the description. You can get the Hustlers Holy Book. Download the Brave web browser. No ads. sign up to the website mailing list on my website, the mailing list on the website. Become a Patreon for exclusive content. And yeah, during the show, if you're feeling the show, you can support and send a special message to be read out by hitting the PayPal link. So if you got any like super questions or anything super that you want me to say, just click that link, and yeah, the message will come up on my screen and I'll bring it forward. Still, big up the 68 likes, you know what I'm saying? Big up everyone in the place. Don't worry, man, I ain't sitting down like Sarah did. Yeah, I'm gonna show Sarah how we have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? As black people, you know what I'm saying, that love our culture and our community. You know what I'm saying? We ain't bending over. We don't do, you know, gay acting roles where we're bending over and our finger in our mouth. Yeah, we don't do that right there. Still, you get me? Keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, big up the 70 likes. Big up everyone in the place. Yo, yeah. And Mr. Singh, if my man does one more thing talking my name, yes, bops. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say too much more still. Yeah, and it's gonna be very embarrassing. Yeah. Big shout out to the 70 likes in the building. Big shout out to everyone in the building. White Winter, I wasn't going on about Sarah. I was just saying that I'm gonna show him how it's done. All right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, big shout out to everyone in the building. Good to see the whole family inside. This one should definitely be an interesting one. Yeah, and you see me, I'm just on truth over everything. That's all I'm on. I'm just standing on what I know to be the truth. You know what I'm saying? From my experiences in this country. You lot might understand, you might not understand, but that's all I can stand on. You get me? When you stand on truth, you can never be defeated. But yeah, it's 9:05. The pot's just warming up. Big shout out to the 76. All right, family, put your ones up if you're here. Can't hear when I said it a while ago, just so I can do the register. Big up, that's what it's family. You get me? One's air through thick and thin, not just when it's a hype. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Bundle Lactilect and his little Rafferty as well. You get me? Hello? Hello? You ready, yeah? All right, cool. I'm gonna line it up for you now. Give me 2 secs. All right. All right.
Hope you're meeting.
All right. It's not come up yet. Okay. All right. Sending a message out there. All right. Yes, it's about to kick off. Big shout out to the 81 likes. Big shout out to the whole family inside. Are you mad? It's about to go down in the dunya. Let me try to send myself. Oh no, I won't be able to send it that way. Actually, I can email it to myself. All right, cool. Mad thing. Yeah, so yeah, man, I want to talk about Stormzy being racist. Big up, I killed the real. What you saying? Sent a message early. Big up, brother. I hope you and the family are good. Yeah. All right, I see you, cuz. I see you shining. Come on, Princess Dominique. Big up Rafu, C4, Akil, and NLP. Shout out the whole Patreon squad. Are you mad? All right, let me try to send this thing to myself now. All right. Send this to myself. All right. I could just send it straight to James. Yeah. All right. Okay, okay. I got it. I got it. I got it, man.
Politically, he can criticize. Oh, we've got RASPECT on now, John. I'm going to pass over. We'll get you on after, mate, yeah? Right. RASPECT's it. Right, RASPECT, let me just get rid of John. He's gone. Evening, sir.
Well, go on. You good?
I'm very well, thank you. I've been looking forward to this all week. Should be an interesting discussion. I don't believe we've ever met in person. I've been down Speaker's Corner quite a few times, but I don't think we've ever been there at the same time.
No, I don't think we have still.
Which is a shame, because I'm sure there's things that we disagree on, and I'm sure there's things we agree on.
100%, 100%, 100%. We're gonna find out anyway.
Right, so it's an open conversation, so I'll let you start. Where did you want to start, mate?
You know what? I think we can start where we left off, you know. I think during our last conversation, you basically said that you said that you don't like Tommy, or you don't necessarily agree with everything Tommy's on, and you don't necessarily like Britain First, but you said that Tommy's not racist, and you said 100% he's not racist. And then you went on to say that Stormzy, for setting up an apprenticeship and trying to, you know, lower the gang violence by investing in, you know, opportunities for the youth that the system ain't doing. You said Stormzy was racist for those apprenticeships. So I think we can start out around there, and I think we can see where it leads us.
Okay, so firstly, in regards to Tommy Robinson and Britain First, I'm happy to clear all this up. As you probably don't know...
no, I do know. James.
Oh, okay. Well, Britain First became hostile towards me when I started sharing Jada Franson's content, and when I started meeting up with Jada, because they've falsely gone around telling people that she's a police plant and she works for Hope Not Hate, which is complete utter garbage. Then there's the issue of obviously Paul Golding abusing Jada, which I was made aware about, and obviously it's disgusting what he's done to Jada Franson. The Tommy Robinson thing was, there was an issue. Britain First put out a video, Paul Golding did, directing it at me, saying that I was a paid informer, I was a snitch, and I was a grass. So Tommy Robinson's Telegram channel ended up sharing it, and then, yeah, then it sort of, well, it did give...
well, I think it happened before that, James. James, if I'm honest, yeah, because I watched you and Mark Collette's debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been saying for like 7 months that anyone who believes in the Great Replacement, yeah, I don't believe it, and I think we can debate about that later. But anyone who believes in it, like the pigeon, yeah, and pushes this narrative that, you know, there's a big epidemic and we need to keep Britain white, you have to go for Mark Collett over Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson doesn't have the solutions for the Great Replacement. He's just talking about Islam, and doing documentaries for Jews. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you're talking about the Great Replacement, obviously I'm talking about myself here. I know, like, Africans being very close to Europe, and because I've heard Mark Collett being very close to Europe, immigration, and even our genotype, our strong genotype, makes us the #1 threat, because if every white person became Muslim, it's an ideology, so the country could still be white. Do you know what I'm saying? And the ideology could change. But if every white person was to get with a black person, then the children would be of mixed heritage, and a lot of you wouldn't consider them as English anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyone who buys into that Great Replacement thing, that's why Tommy Robinson won't debate Mark Collett, because one thing I would say, and I disagree with you lot on a lot of stuff, and I'll debate Mark Collett, but the thing is, Mark Collett would wipe the floor with Tommy Robinson as far as white people are concerned, like white people who identify with the message he's been spreading about, you know, proud to be English and you the silent, you know what, the speech that he read out at Speaker's Corner. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very directed that way, linked up with Martin Sellner. He goes and does these, you know, speeches at these all white nationalist movements in Germany and France. So for me, it's not surprising, really. I feel like Tommy Robinson was a stepping stone for people to go to Mark Collett.
No, see, I wouldn't say that. And just to go back onto the Britain First and the Tommy stuff. So, like, I think there comes a time where you follow people and you listen to the message that they're saying. However, there does come a time when you start to question putting so much belief into one person, and ultimately, that, for me, in my eyes, that person isn't providing any of the solutions to the problems that we face as a country. Yeah. So I think, like, you know what? Like I said before, there's people that support Tommy that are decent people, right? There's some good, decent people that support Tommy Robinson. But then you've got the Tommy tards that treat Tommy in the same way that the Muslims treat Muhammad, which is the fact that they're above criticism. Nobody can criticize them. Nobody can say anything bad about
James, you was one of them once.
Yeah, no, right? I've been on this journey, right, for 2 years now, yeah? And I'm not going to lie, I've campaigned and I've spoke at Tommy Robinson demonstrations, okay? Now, as I've said, my activism has been a complete journey, and I feel that I'm now at a point where I'm truly comfortable. I don't claim to know everything, okay? But what does concern me, and it's something that obviously doesn't concern you because you don't believe it, but the demographic change of this country as well, you know, that's just one issue. You've also got, you've got mass migration, you've got the Islamic terrorism problem, okay? These are two massive issues. And the Great Replacement, you know, I believe, for somebody to speak to on facts and figures, you're probably best off speaking to Laura Towler, because she knows a lot more than me, and I'm sure she'd love to have a chat with you at some point. But, you know, white people, and it shouldn't be, and I do you know what, I'm not bothered about saying it, because white people shouldn't become a minority in, you know, in their own country, and it is happening. Like, there are cities in England that have changed, that, you know, the demographics have changed. My hometown, Leicester, is one of them that has been affected by mass migration. So the demographic change is real, and we need a solution to ensure that we remain a majority in our own country. Like, I'm sure that you would want to, like, forgive me if I'm wrong, are you of Jamaican heritage, RASPECT, or somewhere in the Caribbean? Obviously, you were born here, but your ancestry, is that Jamaican?
African heritage originally, and then we was taken in the transatlantic slave trade from Africa to the Caribbean.
Right, okay. So, but do you agree that Africans, so whether they be Zimbabweans, Nigerians, Sudanese, Egyptians, they have a right to remain a majority in their own homeland? Do you agree with that?
I think my view is different from yours on immigration.
I know, but can you answer the question, mate? Do you agree that each individual country, the indigenous population of each individual country, should remain the majority in their own homeland? Do you agree with that?
It depends what you're saying is indigenous. Because like I said, because of the transatlantic slave trade, most of the people that are in the Caribbean right now are not indigenous to the Caribbean. So I don't know, do I want to bring the Arawaks back? Or do we want to bring the Native Americans back to America and bring all the white people from America back to England? Or do we want to go to Australia and make the Aboriginals? Are we going to bring the South Africans back? Like,
RASPECT, I've got an idea then, an example. So Israel is a state where the Jews remain the majority in Israel. I want what they've got for Great Britain.
Yeah, no,
that should be okay, shouldn't it? You know, the Jews are entitled to their own homeland.
Well, that depends if someone is a Zionist and believes in the existence of the state of Israel, how it came about. So because I'm someone who, just like a lot of Jews, so no one can't call me anti-Semitic, just like a lot of Orthodox Jews, I actually contend the state of Israel. What I would say you're right on is that when people like Steve and people like Raj go against Mark Collett, yeah, themselves being Zionists, they're the ones who are hypocrites when they disagree with you. Because Steve is a white guy that's fully willing to accept that the Jews can have an ethno state, but then he's against England having the ethno state. So those people in the civic nationalist thing, a lot of the Tommy Robinson fans, they are complete hypocrites. But people that are quite have critiques about the Zionist state, I don't think we fall into that same hypocrisy.
Because like what I've noticed is, especially since I've started to become, I'd say, more awake, more researched, is the fact that you can't criticize, especially on the right. The moment you criticize Judaism, or let's say Judaism, Zionism, or you know, they're happy for you to criticize Islam, but they won't let you. And I believe that we should be criticizing all people, all religious minorities, because we shouldn't be allowing them to dominate this country. And like I said, like going back to demographics, it is important, because if the indigenous population of Britain become a minority, then it's not Great Britain anymore, is it? Like, it's not. You know, this country.
Yo, can someone send me the ethnic minorities list on Wikipedia? Someone sent it to me before. Whoever's got it, send that to me, because I'm going to go through this list. It's like, it's stupid. Someone get it for you.
Ensuring that Brits remain the majority in Britain. We should be ensuring that the Sudanese remain a majority in Sudan. Like, that's about protecting each country as well as its people. We certainly shouldn't be experiencing the mass levels of migration that we're currently experiencing, because it's unsustainable.
So can we start with America, Australia, and South Africa then? Because these are places where not only it's not been like a natural people coming to a place. It's literally been genocide. So I think if we're really, you know, going to be consistently about this, then we have to start in places which the indigenous people are not only not the majority, but they've actually been genocided and put to the bottom of the societies, and white people live above them. So I think that's where we'd have to start if we're being consistent about, you know, wanting Sudan for the Sudanese. We want Australia for the Aboriginals. We want America for the natives.
Right, just in regards to what you said about South Africa, I'm sure you're aware of the history, but before, obviously, South Africa, it wasn't, you know, the land, it had to be irrigated by the Dutch and the British. It wasn't, so the people that have flooded into South Africa now aren't indigenous to South Africa, but we've seen what's happened when well, look at the state of South Africa. You know, there's white farmers that are being murdered and genocided, should I say, and we've got black power groups within South Africa that are calling to kill white people. So I think, and that is something that we should talk about as well. I'm sure you're interested in it, because I can tell you're not the type of person that wishes harm upon any race or any people, are you? You're about truth.
Definitely not. So if black people came and invaded this country, not came as immigrants working minimum wage, but if we came and invaded this country and took over this country, would you be against white people fighting to get the country back?
No, but the point is that South Africa, it wasn't their country in the first place. It wasn't a country until the Europeans went over and irrigated all the land. You had mainly the odd group, the odd tribes of people. It was actually the Europeans that irrigated the land and turned it into the country that it is today. And now what we're seeing is, as the black population increases in South Africa, we're seeing whites being attacked, and this hateful, vile, abhorrent rhetoric calling for white people to be killed when there's no need for it. And that's what's concerned. I think that's one of the examples that's concerning for people that, you know, that are genuinely worried about us becoming a minority. That's, you know, that's one. Demographics, is just one issue. There's many issues that are taking place, and I'm sure that me and you would. I think that we are going to agree on stuff in regards to the political class, but I'll hand over to you now. Yeah. Sorry if I've gone on a bit too long.
Yeah, let me address that first point, because I think a lot of you have a lack of black history. And I think, you know, I think a lot of black people in this country, if we don't research our own history, got a lack. So sometimes we think, you know, Africa, Wendy one time said that Africans had sticks and stones before the Europeans came and civilized them. And, you know, that's a lie from the pit of hell. You know, we've had civilizations in East Africa, civilizations in South Africa, some of the first universities in, you know, Timbuktu. So
Morocco,
Morocco, that's where the female set up the first university. So like Africa, South Africa, all of these places definitely had civilizations. Yeah. The only thing about African history is during colonialism, it was underdeveloped. Our let's say us, you know, while the Europeans were having their revolution, do you know what I'm saying? And you know, rising in the world, we was on pause. Do you know what I'm saying? And right now, Africa's still recovering from, you know, 400 years of colonialism. But I think we're doing very, very well. We have some of the cleanest cities now. The economics of a lot of the countries are raising. The population is thriving. So when people say that, you know, they came and civilized South Africa, they didn't civilize anything, because uncivilized people can't civilize something. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think we all agree. I think we'd all agree that if the Chinese came to England right now and, you know, wiped out loads of English people, but they came with a new technology, and, you know, that new technology allowed us to have hoverboards and updated the lifestyle of white people a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It still wouldn't stop you as a white man from saying no, but I still want to fight these people to get them out. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
but then I agree.
One minute, James.
In regards to South Africa, it was only like it was inhabited by a few tribes. So the point I'm trying to say, it was created. The country itself was created by Europeans who irrigated the land, who turned it into the country it is today. Now since
1 minute, James, let me say one thing.
Carry on.
Let me say one thing. Yeah, basically, Africa was there was nowhere where Africa didn't have civilizations. Yeah. All that happened is the Europeans came and they decided to cut up the country. Say if I came to England now and, you know, I cut up Birmingham, I cut up this place, and let's just say the Chinese come here, yeah, they chop up different places, and they say, you know, they go to some towns where they might be, you know, some of the towns people ain't living as technical as they're living in London, yeah, or Birmingham, or some of the bigger cities. And let's say if they went to these towns and they basically bought a new technology, yeah, and they upgraded the technology of the English people, but also subjugated the English people. Would you be okay with that, James? Because they bought some new technology, yeah, would you be okay with being under their subjugation?
But then they've not. I'm not saying right. So the Europeans that created South Africa, they've not really subjugated anybody. If there was hardly anybody that lived on the land, have they? Like I feel that, like, that's the way we have to look at. That's the way we have to look at it, because the South African country was flooded in by sub-Saharan blacks who flooded into South Africa, right? Now, when these people, you know, for me, South Africa is only going to get worse and worse, and it is a prime example why we should not want to become a minority in our own homeland. That's just one country. Now, I wouldn't want to live in a country where I'm a minority. So I wouldn't, for instance, I wouldn't go and live in Iran, Iraq, China. And where I'm from. Now, that for me.
Sorry, so I didn't look here. Can someone put bare sevens in the chat if they've got the link to that PDF that breaks down the different populations in Britain? Just put bare sevens in the chat. I'm watching the chat now. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Respect.
Yeah.
Right. So you're British, right? So why should, as British people, why should we be made to feel? And this might be a bit off, but it's going down the same thing. Why we're supposed to feel guilty about everything that happened with the British Empire, right? There's just one question I've got to ask, because it's a super chat aspect, and that is Timmy Bobbington wants to know: do you agree with 14 for all nations?
No, I don't believe in the 14. Like, let's say 1,000 or 5,000 or 20,000 Polish people migrated to Jamaica and worked under the system. Yeah, and was like, I wouldn't have no problem. My problem is if and I'd be backing you on this if, you know, let's say Gambia, where a lot of my ancestors are from, if they united and came to England and murdered and pillaged and raped your land, yeah, for their resources, for their own benefit, that's where I'd have an issue. So even when you say South Africa, there was no people there. No, this is why there was an apartheid state. No, this is why there was an apartheid state. The apartheid state consisted of the people who were subjugated, who originally lived in the land. Yeah. So,
right. Okay, you've just made a very valid point about subjugation, and now we're talking like in regards to slavery, and like I know you've got a problem with the white slave owners, but do you not feel that Islam and Muslims have not subjugated, raped, and pillaged their way not only across Africa but also across Europe as well? So focus it all on the nasty white slave owners. Why don't we talk about the trans-Saharan slave trade that, you know, that enslaved Africans? And also at the same time, we have to remember that it was other Africans selling black slaves to the Europeans. It's, you know, it wasn't just the nasty Europeans. There were black people that were involved in it as well. And we do have to be commended, because Britain was the first country to abolish slavery.
Well, I think we have to look at the reasons behind all of these things, yeah? And I think that's where a lot of people may be ignorant on your side. So when you're talking about Africans selling other Africans, you're talking about people like Madame Tinubu, who, because there was indentured servitude before the Europeans, practiced right across the board. But the thing about this indentured servitude, James, is it wasn't race specific, yeah? The first people to say Africans are less than human beings and they should be subjugated was chattel slavery, yeah? And some of the first people to revolt against chattel slavery was black Muslims, yeah? And I can bring the evidence if you want it as well. So like I can't just talk one way in this conversation, yeah? I don't look at, I think there's definitely conversations to be had about the Arab slave trade, but we have to remember, when you're talking about those numbers, they had more white people as indentured servants or in servitude than black people in the 10th and 11th century. Do you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't race specific. When we're talking about chattel slavery, we're talking about a group of people saying that these black people are less than human beings, and this is the reason we're going to colonize their whole continent. So when you're talking about the Arabs, they came into North Africa. You know what I'm saying? Sub-Saharan Africa accepted Islam by themselves, by trade, Mansa Musa, all of these people. Yeah, but the North African, that's where their main invasion was, yeah? Whereas the Europeans, when they came to Africa, they colonized the whole continent, including North Africa. So that kind of put us in the same boat where enemies are concerned to some degree, yeah? Or people who want to subjugate the continent. That's why you have people like Gaddafi, yeah? Trying to do United States of Africa, and that's why you have the Western foreign policy intervening and trying to destabilize these countries, yeah? And then on top of that, also in chattel slavery, this was the first time that we'd seen groups of people taken from their continent to a whole new place, had their names beaten out of them, their language beaten out of them, their folkways, their moreways, yeah? Their culture, their knowledge of God, yeah, all of it was whipped literally out of these people to the point where they had no knowledge of self. So I think when we're talking about chattel slavery, we're talking about the specifics. Now, we had white indentured servants, you know, Irish people, but let's not forget that, you know, that was voluntary. Yeah, it was about 7-8 years. And after they'd finished their 7-8 years, they could inherit a plantation themselves. So whereas with Africans, there was no time limit. It was you was a slave for life, and your child would be a slave, and your child's child would be a slave. Now, you talked earlier on about the abolishment of slavery, and yes, I respect the white people like John Brown, who was on the ground before even England started saying anything, and they were shooting slave masters alongside Harriet Tubman and these people. Those white people I've got high respect for. Now, if you look at the actual history of why they abolished slavery and the conversation in the House of Commons and Lords about it, it was about the Haitian Revolution. Now, a lot of people don't know that the first ever Haitian Revolution in Haiti was actually led by Muslims, the first one. Yeah, it wasn't successful. Yeah,
now there's a surprise. Hey, Muslims leading revolutions.
100%. Yeah, it wasn't successful. The last one, obviously, it was the final one that was successful. But like, when you're talking about when the Haitian Revolution happened, the French couldn't control it. They called the Spanish. Yeah, the Spanish couldn't control it. They called the English. The English couldn't control it, and Haiti was the first country to actually gain independence. Once it gained Once it had gained that independence, the conversation in House of Commons was, if these slave revolts continue and they was to take over more places, it would be detrimental. So then that's why they had the abolishment of slavery, because anywhere they brought slavery, revolution followed, resistance followed, rebellion followed. So we made it non-profitable when we're burning down. You know, when you hear Bob Marley say, we're gonna burn down the cane fields. Yeah, we was burning down the cane fields. So that's why it became non-profitable. And then when England stopped, Remember, England couldn't let America and France and all these other places economically pass them. Yeah. So then when they stopped, they had to force everyone else to stop. But that was more about economics and business rather than about, you know, black people and morals and us being human beings. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because I want to find this out. Are you a Muslim?
That's not a question that is really relevant. I don't.
No, it is relevant. It's relevant because I want to know whether you're a follower of Islam, because we do have to remember that. I'd like to get this out first. I would like to know whether you are.
I might as well be a Muslim to you. You might have to talk to me like I'm a Muslim, because I highly.
No, but are you a Muslim? That's what I'm asking.
Well, no, I'm not a Muslim. Wagwan.
No, I'm just so. What is your religion? What beliefs do you hold then? Are you a Christian, or are you Muslim? What are you?
Well, for me personally, I've been studying Islam for maybe the last 2 years since I came to Speaker's Corner. Yeah. Okay. And studying Islam, I had a lot of people telling me lies about Islam. You know what I'm saying? These people want to kill you. They all hate you. They all hate you. They've all got Islamic ray guns. You want British to be about British. There's
no such thing as an Islamic ray gun.
They're bringing Sharia law. All of these things that I was being told. So I started to research Islam for myself. And as I started to research it, maybe it's an understanding barrier, but I fully understand Islam to the point.
Okay, so please let me ask you this question. If you fully understand Islam, then
one minute to the point where everything within Islam I embrace. So I wouldn't deny that I believe there's only God, there's no God but God, and I believe the Prophet Muhammad is his messenger.
All right, so let me ask this then. Is the Prophet Muhammad, is his example perfect for all of time?
I don't want this to be a discussion about Islam this time.
I'm asking you, this is just one thing, right? You've said that you're not a Muslim, but you understand it. So what I'm asking you is, as somebody that understands Islam and the Quran and the Hadiths and the Sharia, even though there are Sharia courts in Britain, do you believe that Muhammad's example is perfect for all of time? Yes or no?
I'm not here to represent Islam today.
No, but answer the question. Do you believe that his example is perfect for all of time?
It depends what you believe the example is.
Muhammad, so Muslims are taught to emulate the example of Muhammad, to lead their lives the way Muhammad did. So what I'm asking is his example perfect for all of time?
Depends what. That's what I'm saying. That's you're starting a religious debate there. Because
I'm just asking about Muhammad. I just want to know whether you believe his example is perfect for all of time.
What I know of Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 100%. One minute. But what you believe about the Prophet Muhammad is completely different. So the guy that you're talking about in your head that you're going to explain to me is someone completely different to the guy that I'm talking about. So we're talking about two completely different people. So what I do is we can revisit Islam 100%, especially like even like for me personally, I don't like to talk on things that I'm not I like to research and know what I'm
you just said you understood Islam.
Yeah, 100%. But what I'm saying is that you lot misunderstand Islam. So the Prophet Muhammad that you lot described that is someone different from the Prophet Muhammad that I've researched, reading the Quran, reading the Sunnah, researching, speaking to different scholars, hearing different opinions. Now, there are Muslims who represent a prophet that I would disagree with. Do you know what I'm saying? So Muslims have their own
debates. Of Islam, right? So what I just wanted to go back is, right, you have a problem with white people because of slavery in the past, yet at the same time you're following a religion that's prophet had slaves, and then at the same time you've also said his example is perfect for all of time, even though he married a child, and that constitutes to paedophilia.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that depends on what you believe about the prophet. That's what I'm saying. So you believe one thing, and from my research, I believe a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Muslims have clear rules and guidance, whereas they can't get with a woman that is not past her period or that's going to harm her in any way, shape or form. So I definitely have seen a lot of evidence that Aisha was older than people perceive her to be. And then
so you're
one
a Shiite denomination.
No. I'm not. There's no, for me, there's no denomination. They're just Muslims. You get me? But anyway, differently from that, yeah. And I think like a lot of Jada Franson and all of like you don't really see a differentiation either, really. When push comes to shove, you got a problem with the Quran, you got a problem with the Prophet. So whether a man's Shia or Sunni, it doesn't really matter. Do you know what I'm saying?
Can I explain why I have a problem with Islam, please?
No, 1 minute. Because you want to turn this into an Islamic conversation, and I feel like that's because the debate we was having, you're kind of backpedaling. So now,
all right, well, let's change the subject then. But let's just clarify for the record before we go on to anything else.
1 minute. Let me say my last thing though. So even when you're talking about servitude was in Africa. Like I said, we had prisoners of war. That's a part of culture. Chattel slavery was people going to a place saying that this race of people are inferior to everyone else, taking them away from that place and beating their name, language, more ways, and all of these things out of them. There was never a black person during chattel slavery that rose up to be commanders, scholars, kings. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas the Islam, our history with Islam, because it's not Islam really for me, it's Arabs. Just like it's not Christianity. The
Arabs are an ethnic group of people, isn't it? Islam's a religion. There's a difference.
Yeah, 100%. But just the same way, I'm not saying I don't think it's Christianity. I think that the Europeans, because of their own mentality at that time, they done a misservice and a misrepresentation of Christianity when they done their heinous acts. So I don't blame Christianity for Europeans and chattel slavery. In the same way, I don't blame Muslims. I don't blame Islam for Muslims, for certain Arabs and what they done with the religion, because you can go and research Mansa Musa, which is the richest man that ever lived, and he converted off his own back and he spread the religion right through West Africa, not with any invasions or anything like that, but with good deeds and good morals. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what made people flood towards Mansa Musa. So it's not just a one-way story. But I think it's a complete misnomer if you're gonna say I'm talking to you about chattel slavery, and I'd say the same thing to an Arab. I'd say the same thing to an Arab.
Please let me cut in now.
Let me say one thing. Let me say my last thing. If I'm talking to an Arab about the Arab slavery, and then he starts to talk to me about chattel slavery, I'm gonna tell him that he's diverting, because we're not talking about European chattel slavery right now, my Arab friend. We're talking about the Arab conquest and invasion. In the same way, if I'm talking to a European about chattel slavery and then he starts to point to the Arabs over there, it just shows that that's disingenuous, because you don't want to deal with what you're it's like, please. No, let me say one last thing. Well, let me say one last thing.
You keep saying this.
No, because you're cutting me. You're cutting me before I finish.
No, I don't have a chance to get in.
No, I'm just saying this last thing because you brought up the subject. So the thing is, you've asked the question. So you can't ask the question and then not want to hear the answer, because that means that you just got an agenda that you're trying to push with your question. So if you genuinely want to get the answer, you're going to listen to what I've got to say. And I'm saying it's just like, let's say if I'm talking to an Arab person because he raped my mum and he says, no, this white guy raped your mum too. I don't care about the white guy right now because I'm talking to you, cuz. So right now I'm talking to you about European chattel slavery. I'm not talking about Arabs.
Right. Okay, and what I'm saying is, thank you for saying that, and I hope now that you'll let me say my piece right. The reason I brought up about Mohammedan slavery is because you're talking about slavery, right? And you're talking about black people being slaves and the Europeans were the slave owners. Yet at the same time, we've got Muslims that have, Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, that kept slaves. We've had Muslims keeping slaves for years, and it seems like you'd rather focus more attention on Europeans than you would the Muslim slave owners. And what I said about Muhammad's example was a question because it does need to answer. You've said that you understand Islam. You might, I think you probably, I don't know. You said that that you understand it and whatnot, and you've studied it. So if you've studied it, then you'll understand that it is not a religion of peace for a start. Muhammad was a violent, murdering, paedophilic warlord, okay? And these people, we shouldn't be holding these people in high self-esteem. You know, we shouldn't be putting these people on a platform, because what Muhammad did and what the Islamic Empire did after Muhammad's death was absolutely abhorrent. They raped, and pillaged their way across the lands. The Middle East was Christian. North African was Christian. Okay, and these places were decimated by Muslims. Now, in regards to slavery, right? Slavery was abhorrent. It was absolutely abhorrent, right? Nobody should be a slave, okay? But you aren't affected by slavery. I'm not affected by slavery, and nobody that's alive today has been affected by slavery. And we certainly shouldn't be forced to feel guilty about the actions of our ancestors. That's just the way I feel on it. And in regards to Islam, I truly believe that Islam poses a detrimental threat to the entire Western population. It poses a threat because, like you said about other cultures, you know, black people being subjugated, having their cultures beaten out of them. Explain to me what ISIS did in Syria and Iraq when they went around destroying culture. Explain to me that Islam doesn't, you know, everything that was before Islam, that they don't count it. Okay, so Islam itself is a religion that's not tolerant. So it's not peaceful, and it doesn't protect women's rights. So if you wanted to go back onto the other subject we were talking about, I'm happy. Wherever you want to go, we'll go with it.
Have you read the Quran from start to finish?
I've read most of the Quran, and what I have read truly shocks me. You've got the 109 violent verses.
All right. No, I hear you. Yeah. Well, I have not only read it once, but I've read it 3 times and heavily studied it. So you might have missed out. The couple verses you missed out might have been Quran 2:177. Righteousness is not turning your faces towards the east or the west. Righteous are those who believe in God, the last day, the angels, the scripture, and the prophets, and they give the money cheerfully to the relatives, the orphans, the needy, the traveling alien. So that's a non-Muslim, a traveling alien, the beggars, and to free the slaves. Yeah, and they observe the contact prayers, salat, and give obligatory charity, zakat, and they keep their word whenever they make a promise, and they steadfastly persevere in the face of persecution, hardship, and war. These are the truthful, these are the righteous. So this is the Prophet Muhammad I know. You might know
so a different... What about verse 929?
One minute, yeah? My understanding, yeah, because when slavery was abolished in many places in West Africa, it was the Quran that was used, and this specific verse, yeah, it's a Muslim's duty to free a slave, yeah, to free the slaves, yeah, and I believe that that was the mission of the Prophet, but he lived in a system where it was so embedded, yeah, it's gonna take time. And one thing that they also said is racism's gonna be there until the last day. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that man's always fighting against, whether it's European racism, Arab racism, Chinese racism, Indian racism, because I feel like colorism and racism affects dark-skinned black people the most. Even though where racism is concerned, you could be a Turk in this country and look white and still face a level of racism because you're seen as a foreigner or an invader. So I don't.
Yeah, but what about verse 929?
What verse is that? Strike them wherever you see them.
Kill them.
Yeah, that's talking specifically
about 929.
Yeah, that's talking specifically about people who was putting stones on my brother Bilal's chest, oppressing people, murdering people, burying their firstborn daughters. They tried to kill the Prophet in Mecca. He had to flee to Medina. You know what I'm saying? So this is talking about people that was literally oppressing the Muslims to the point where they had to flee to Ethiopia. That's the first place where Muslims were safe, to the Nagashi. Yeah, so people ain't gonna flee. The Prophet wouldn't have fled to Medina, and the Sahaba wouldn't have fled to Ethiopia if they was living amongst some righteous people. So, like I said, what you understand about Islam and what I understand about Islam is 2 completely different things. But I don't want to make it a religious conversation today. I want us to stick on the point, and in a couple months, I will bad you up on Islam too. I promise. Yeah, yeah.
But I just don't understand how you can support an ideology that's been responsible for some of the most horrendous terrorist attacks that have taken place in Europe. And for an ideology, please let me finish, mate. I've been very courteous to you tonight. Very courteous. But But what else was it?
Yeah.
What other subjects
Well,
did
the
you want to
Sharia
touch
courts
upon?
are-
I don't know
the
how long you've got
Sharia
left, by
courts-
the way, mate.
The Sharia courts ain't like judging people. They're like marriage courts, like so Muslims can get divorced and all of that. So like, let's not make it seem like.
No, but a Muslim can divorce a woman by saying, "I divorce you 3 times." Women don't have any rights under Sharia. A woman's testimony is worth half of a man. So if she's raped, she has to have 4 male witnesses there. So I don't understand anybody that can defend Islam and say it's progressive and say it's great and peaceful when it's clearly not peaceful, it's clearly not great, and it's anything but progressive. Like I said, I don't understand how you can support it. But what's going on in Libya? You know, we've got black slaves that are.
As soon as I started to respond to your point about Sharia, you cut me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sorry. Say that again, Respect. I do apologise if you believe I cut you. I think what we'll do is if we have 2 minutes on each thing and then we pass over to each other.
Yeah. So those are marriage courts. Yeah. And James, are you a supporter of Christianity? Do you support Christians?
Yeah, I'd say that I wouldn't claim that I know everything, but I believe in God. Yeah.
All right. So for me, yeah, I don't blame I don't blame the Islam for Arabs doing bad things. I blame them not following Islam. Yeah, that's what I blame for their badness. In the same way, I don't blame Christianity for Europeans doing wicked stuff under the name of Christianity. I blame them not following true Christianity. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say is any argument you put towards Islam can be put right back at Christianity, because there's nothing that is in Islam or in the Quran that is not in the Bible. Yeah, like nothing, like Old Testament and New Testament together. There's nothing that is like very different. They've all got prisoners of war. Yeah, they all had some form of apostasy rules. All of these stuff is in both. So like for me, it's a null and void conversation for someone to say, you know, Christianity and then have this big issue with Islam. That's an ideological beef that that's an ideological beef that some Muslims have with Christians and Christians have with Muslims. I don't get involved in that. Yeah, what the main thing I'm saying is what you understand Islam to be and what some Muslims represent Islam to be. Yeah, and I think even that representation is in the light of being heavily oppressed and the foreign policy of this country, because we didn't hear about terrorism. The most terrorist attacks in this country was from the Irish, yeah, before, you know, certain foreign policy of the West, yeah, and in the state of that, certain people have reacted in a certain way, which I don't agree with, and I don't think it's a representation of Islam, yeah. So those people, and that's why I say ISIS, FBI ISIS, and the far right are two different sides of the same coin. But the true Islam that I've studied, that Mansa Musa, that my brother Malcolm X, the first Muslims to revolt in Haiti, the true Islam that they followed, the Islam that they follow in Gambia right now, yeah, for me, that is one of the most peaceful and upheld ways of life that I can see on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Even when I go amongst Muslims, if you go to a masjid or you go amongst Muslims, the treatment from Muslims is better than, you know, a treatment, let's say. So if I walk past a mosque,
no, that's complete utter rubbish, because that would imply that this whole country is racist, and it's not. What? And the thing is, like, the reason people have got a problem with Islam rather than Christianity is because it's specifically followers of Islam that have committed the most heinous terrorist attacks on people have quoted Quranic verses, you know, and this is a problem. See, the thing is, right, you've got organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah, who's terrorist organizations that promote violence against the Jews, against non-believers, right? The Middle East was decimated by followers of Islam. So there's a massive difference between Islam and Christianity, and the fact that Islam instructs, you know, what do they call non-believers in Islam? The kuffar, you know, never be friends with the kuffar. Okay, and that's wrong, man, because Islam for me is a supremacist ideology where they put themselves above other people. You know, and there is a lot of comments in this chat. I've just gone off, but what somebody's mentioning your thoughts on the Manchester Arena attack.
All right,
I don't know.
All right, let me answer you in pieces, because you say a lot, and then you when I'm talking, you'll cut me, so I can't answer all of your points. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful not to do that. Yeah. So what I'd say is where I'd start, yeah, where I'd start the journey, yeah, is are the IRA Muslims?
Say that again.
Are the IRA, are they Muslim?
Well, no, but you're going to show at the end of the day.
Okay.
Right, go on. I know where you're going with this. Go on. The IRA aren't Muslims.
So before Western foreign policy in Muslim lands, yeah, the most terrorist attacks in this country were by white Christians, yeah, that was trying to fight against oppression coming from this country towards them as well, because they was considered white niggers. Yeah, and when you talk about, when I'm talking about the pubs, it was not long ago where on the pubs it said no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. Yeah, blacks.
How many years ago was that?
No, I'm saying it's not too long ago. My mum can tell me these stories. You know what I'm saying? These are stories that are handed down to black people growing up in this country. I can tell you stories about walking past pubs in Romford and being called a monkey and a nigger at young ages and having to fight against racists. I can tell you stories about in Marks Gate, black people being killed. Some of my friends being killed by racists, by right-wing white racists that consider themselves.
Hold on. How can you say right-wing people are racist, man?
Those are the people. 1 minute. It's not no Muslims. It's not no woman in a burqa that's ever killed my friend. What I'm saying is, or chased down my people. Yeah, when we was being called niggers and they was doing nigger bashing, they was also doing packy bashing as well. Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, when we talk about our experience, so the fact that I know that there's people.
But do you agree with the IRA?
1 minute. I know that it's not about agreeing with the IRA. I agree. Listen to me. I agree with anyone on any part of the planet. England. If anyone invades this country and tries to oppress England, I agree with the English people fighting with full will against them people. You understand? Not trying to put, I don't want to lower my morals. So I ain't going to do what the wicked man done to me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to stoop down to their level. I'm going to raise above them. So I try to do it by righteousness, speaking out boldly, talking opposition. I'm not going to go and hurt some white people because of what they done to our people. Instead, I'm going to try to build my community back and speak the truth to power. But what I'm saying is, when you're talking about the IRA and all of these things, these are white Christians, and this was the biggest terrorist acts that we'd seen in this country before the foreign policy of this country went other places. 1 minute, went to other places and oppressed other people, and we don't like to put it into historical context. Do you know what I'm saying? We like to just say that one day some guy just woke up and started to hurt us. And the thing is, my brother, there's 1.6 million Pakistanis alone in this country. Yeah, and there's, that panels into another conversation because there's only 500 convicted groomers, but 1.6 million Pakistanis. Yeah, and I'm saying that if just the Pakistani community, we can leave the Somali, the Moroccan, all of the other communities, if they was really being taught what you're saying they're being taught, if they really believe what you said that they believe, there'd be 1.6 million deaths right now. Right now, like literally, they'd go outside and there'd be 1.6 million deaths. So we can see that even this illusion, of, you know, Muslims wanting to harm us. If Muslims wanted to harm you at least once a day, like look how much black youths are dropping on the roads. Man are getting stabbed up every day on the roads.
Right, please, right. You've had your 2 minutes now. Let's go through it. Right, black like you've got, it feels like you are racist towards white people. We have to condemn terrorism. Now, the IRA committed some of the worst possible heinous acts on this country, right? The same as the Islamic terrorists have as well. But I just, like I said, I don't understand why you've got this victimhood mentality and then you're hiding behind Islam like it's your Lord, you know, like it's your savior. And if we look at Islam, it's the most far-right ideology out there. And you support it, but yet you've got a problem with what you deem to be far-right people that want to ensure that they don't become a minority in their own homeland. To me, RASPECT, you seem very Anglophobic.
Okay, so... And
I've only had a minute here, so we'll pass over to you for a minute. But from what I can gather, you seem very Anglophobic. You seem like you've got a chip on your shoulder because of slavery, to me, you shouldn't be behaving like that. You're not a victim. You live in the West. You live in a country where you're able to prosper, where you're able to live in a safe society. Ultimately, you know, people have a path to choose, and it's what path you go down. If you want to go down the path of gang violence and selling drugs, then go down that path, but then don't complain about people. People choose to go down that path. Now, you know, what I don't know all of the stuff that you do. I know that you've stood with the Nation of Islam, but you know, perhaps rather than focusing on saying every white person's racist, well, not every white person, every person like me is racist. Why don't you, just look at your own rhetoric that you're saying? Because for me, it seems like you're quite, black people can murder each other over gangs, over drugs, whatever it is. But meanwhile, it's white people that are the bad people. We're not bad people. Okay, and all we want, people, please let me finish this point. I'll be 1 minute. All people like me want is to ensure that we remain a majority in our own country, because if we become a minority, we won't be afforded the same rights that you're currently afforded. Okay, and that's a concern. And please answer the question about Manchester, sir.
Yeah, you went on a big rant there. You incited.
That's not a rant, Raspect. That's me being very polite to you, and I'm glad that you've come on.
That was a rant still. But and you incited a lot of stuff that haven't been said into your little speech, you know what I'm saying? I've not said anything about white people. I've criticized Arabs, Asians, Chinese people, Europeans, and even black people, yeah, in the Caribbean, in Africa, for having a big issue with colorism. Now, I do believe chattel slavery played a big role in that colorism. Now, you sit there all dandy, talking about you want to keep, Britain white, and slavery doesn't affect any of us, but you have your last name. You have your history.
What's your last name?
1 minute.
Stop muting me on your channel as well, because I'm getting loads of messages saying every time I'm speaking, you're muting me. So stop it. Come on, let's be civil to each other, good sir.
That's a lie from the pit of hell. And anyone who said that, when you get to watch it back, you realize that that's a lie. Yeah, I've muted it once to ask someone for statistics on the different ethnic minorities in the UK. Yeah, so anyone who's telling you that and is lying to you. Yeah, and anytime when I need to engage with my audience, then I'd have to do that, and even if you came over to my side, it will be the other way around. Yeah, but yeah, so that's the first thing. Don't believe the lies, and like I said, I will prove to you that these people are lying. Yeah, I don't need to mute you. But yeah, the points you're making have been heard many a time, James. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, firstly, yeah, I have not literally zoned in on Europeans. I've just pointed out that the specifics of chattel slavery were different. Now you sit there with your last name. You ask me my last name. My last name is Raspect X, like my Muslim brother Malcolm X. But then I got a Christian.
No, but what name were you born? What name were you? What's on your birth certificate? What's your name?
I don't know the name. It's a slave master's name.
You do know the name. What was your name on your birth certificate? Stop being disingenuous.
Just like Malcolm X said in that interview, that's a slave master's name. It's not my name. That's the name.
So what was it then? Okay, if it's the name that you're not willing to take, what was it?
I don't need to say it because I don't acknowledge it.
Why not? It's your surname.
I don't acknowledge. It's not my surname. It's a slave master's name. It's a branding. It brands me as someone who was owned by someone of European descent. Do you get it? And literally my name, like Kunta Kente to Toby, Kunta Kente, another Muslim. So and with me, it's not that I'm supporting Muslims or supporting Christians, because Nat Turner, that's my brother. He's a Christian. Marcus Garvey is my brother. That's a Christian. With the black community and supporting my people. And amongst my people, I've got Muslims, I've got Christians. Yeah, and I love them all the same. So it's not a thing where, and the reason why you're onto Islam and not Christianity, and the reason why a black person will be stupid to be on what you're on, is because you're a nationalist, and there's not really a big percentage of Muslims that are white. There's a big percentage of Christians that are white. So you picking Christianity and being at war with Islam, it just makes sense as a nationalist. Now for Africans, 1 minute, no. But for a Pan-African, that makes no sense, because 50% the top half is Muslim, the bottom half is basically Christian. Yeah. So anyone who's a Pan-African is going to come different from a European. We're more going to be looking at how we can see people living together, that's Christian, the similarities, how we can quell differences between Christians and Muslims in Africa in order for us to be able to recognize the enemy on the outside that wants to colonize us. And when I say enemy, one minute.
My turn.
When I say
you keep doing this,
no, cuz I'm telling you, I
thought you were decent, RASPECT. I thought you respected people when they were speaking. Go on, carry on.
If you go and rewind it, and you listen, when you spoke, I let you go straight. When I'm speaking, you do little cuts every like 20 seconds. Do you know what I'm saying? Just rewind the clip. Let's listen back to it, and we can time you and we can time me. And
look, just get on with your point. Just get on with your point, RASPECT. This has been quite a civil debate this evening. I'm very happy that you've been able to conduct yourself in a civilized manner. I am really grateful that you've managed to do that, because when I've been down at Speaker's Corner with the savages that are down there, they're unable of doing that. So I'm going to congratulate you on being able to have a reasonable conversation with somebody that you disagree with. Carry on to your next point.
That was hella condescending still. I don't need no congratulations. This is just the nature of my people. You understand? This is just natural. I don't know what else you expect. You get me? But I commend you for not, doing any EDL chants while
I'm not EDL though. That's the difference. So I'm going to explain to you what I am. So I am a nationalist.
No, but did you see that, James? Did you see that what we just done there? So, and time you're talking, and this is where like some form of privilege, like I give you the respect, even if I disagree. And sometimes I cut a little bit, but I've been holding back and letting you do the rant, even if I disagree with everything. But when I'm talking, the pungent points, what you do is you divert them. So as soon as I start saying it, and then you divert. It's a debating tactic. I'm not saying that's what you're trying to do, but you want to let the same way I'm letting you make your full point, even if I don't agree with what you're saying. You have to do the same. Do you know what I'm saying? But,
go on, right. So we'll have. So we've got 4 minutes. You've got 3 minutes till 22:09, and then I'll take over from 9 till 12. Go on.
All right. So let's do 2 minutes. I need to go for 2.
Yeah, go on then.
All right. So like I'm saying, if you're talking about English nationalism, Christianity would be a good place to start, because the majority of English people are Christian. Now, when you're talking about Pan-Africanism, it's something completely different, because we're talking about how to resolve differences so we can see unity, like we saw, in West Africa, where Christians and Muslims both recognized that we had enemies on the outside that wanted to pillage Africa. Now you have the Europeans, they had their hand in this, because obviously they cut up the continent, they colonized the continent, and they got involved in neo-colonialism, where they own a lot of the resources and the land till this day in Africa. So they're underdeveloping Africa right now as we speak. So I'd say those are and anytime we've had like African leaders like Kwame Nkrumah, then we've had Patrice Lumumba, no matter what African leaders try to, do better for Africa, they get assassinated, not by Arabs, but by those from the West. Now, the funny thing about the Arabs is I've got no allegiance to the Saudi Arabians either, because the Saudi Arabians are in the pocket of the Zionists and the Americans. They're not even practicing Islam according to Muslims. They're in the pocket of and if you see how they're treating the maids, the African maids, Bangladesh maids, Moroccan maids out there, it's disgusting. They put nails for a Bangladeshi woman's foot. So I'm not with any Arab nationalism either. It was actually the United Arab Emirates that actually gave the go-ahead to the Europeans to take out Gaddafi for trying to create a United States of Africa. So for me, my allegiance, is to my motherland, Africa.
Why don't you live there then?
And trying to solve the issues in the motherland. You understand? And what? All
right, RASPECT, you've had 2 minutes now. So, firstly, what I'm going to say is, if you care so much about what goes on in Africa, why are you living in Great Britain instead of Africa? Second point is, will you condemn the current slave trade in Libya? And thirdly, I've got 2 minutes, so I can go a bit on it, right? This whole victimhood mentality needs to stop, and the hiding behind Islam needs to stop. They're using you, RASPECT. The Muslims will use you and abuse you, right? They don't care about you. And the thing is, it seems you've got a problem with people wanting to ensure that they remain a majority in Great Britain because you think it's racist, right? That's complete rubbish. If you really cared so much about Africa and your homeland, then you'd be living there, making it a better place. But you're not. You're in London. You're at Speaker's Corner, and you're trying to, you know, I don't know, push whatever narrative you want. If you really were a man of your word and you really cared about Africa and it being underdeveloped, then you'd be living in Africa, helping them develop. And it's not underdeveloped. It is the
that's 2 minutes. It's 9 now. That's 3 minutes
in terms of.
Now,
for me, why aren't you living in Africa and helping to make
3 minutes, mate? 3 minutes. Yeah, you meant to go.
It's now. You've got 3 minutes.
All right. So that goes back to the Manchester question. Yeah, I condemn the British. Yeah, who trained terrorists to destabilize Gaddafi and arm these terrorists, and that same terrorist came back and committed terrorist acts in England. I condemn them wholeheartedly. Yeah, they was trained by the West to do terrorism in Libya, and you lot didn't care about that terrorism that was going on. But when that same person you trained came back and done the same thing to you, that's when it's blah blah. At least I'd say, yeah, that you're talking about a whole country that was destabilized. That goes straight into the slavery in Libya. Under Gaddafi, they had free electricity. They had a whole place called Tawerga where the black people were. Yeah, there was no, and it's actually trafficking, because it's not actually a legal thing that's done. It's not like chattel slavery, something that's a legal document. It's trafficking, and that trafficking that was going on is a result of Western foreign policy. It's a result of them going there and training these terrorists who came back over here and done their terroristic acts. I condemn it all, yeah, wholeheartedly as well, with no apology. Yeah, so when you're talking about Africa and you're talking about the history of Africa and telling me why don't I go back to Africa, well, like I said, you say we're not affected by slavery, but unfortunately, if you had your name, your language, your more ways, your whole knowledge of self stolen from you, then maybe you could say that, James, but you don't know what that's like. It's not no victim thing. I don't feel like a victim in this country. Anytime they call me nigger, anytime they call me monkey, we chase those crazy ballers out of town. They know where it is. I ain't no victim to no one. Yeah, I refuse to be a victim. That's why I speak out. Yeah, it's the victims that bend over and don't speak out. Those are the victims. Yeah, and those are the ones you like. Yeah, but I'm not a victim. That's why they don't like me. Because I speak truth to power regardless. Yeah, and the last thing I would say is that going back to Africa, it's a process for us. Yeah, and when you're talking about the gangs in the streets, remember, when the first Jamaicans came over here, there was no knife violence. We learned that from white people. Yeah, we learned that from the original white. No, we did. The main stabbings when we first moved over here was not by black people. Yeah, we learned that from them gangs. And till this day, Scotland, and there's enough white places where their knife crime is just as rife as black people. Yeah, but with Scotland, they looked at them like human beings and they said, let's see what we can implement to try and change the violence. So you can't act like black violence is necessarily any different from white violence. The only difference is Jermaine kills Tyrone and he's got consequences. He could either be killed, yeah, as a consequence. Now, let me just say this last thing, yeah? Let me tell you the difference with violence. Jermaine kills Tyrone, which is his brother, because he's lost and misguided, and as a consequence, he's either going to be killed, yeah, as a response. He's either going to go to jail for a very, very long time, or he's going to have to live with that on his conscience, that guilt, that face that comes up every time he closes his eyes. Now, when you have your governments now pressing, signing papers and literally millions of people being killed in other places, bombs dropping on children, women, innocents, yeah, that is real. That is real violence. The foreign policy of this country is real violence. If you want to start with violence, start there, mate.
No, but look. Either way, we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna agree on too much. Now, I've let you have quite a lot of time, and you've had quite a lot of time. So I'm gonna have my say now, and I'm gonna lay it all on the line where I think you're going wrong. Right? From my point of view, I have no guilt. I have no guilt over the slave trade because it didn't affect me. I wasn't there. It wasn't me that did it. I have no. I will say to you is that you should perhaps focus more on the Muslims that are currently keeping slaves in Libya today. Secondly, these gangs of black lads that are going around London, stabbing people, drug dealing, they need to find the light and they need to stop being involved in that circle of violence where they want fast money, they want to sell drugs, they want to live like a G or whatever it is you call it, right? It's that sort of behavior isn't welcome in this country. And you can't blame white people for the actions of black people that are going around stabbing and shooting each other, right? Secondly, that you are a victim, because I could hear it in your tone of voice, and you clearly have a problem, rightfully so. You know, you have a problem with slavery, and you should have, because it was, like you say, your people that were affected by it. But unfortunately, people like me, you know, you can't blame us for slavery, right? You cannot blame us for slavery because it has nothing to do with it, okay? What I think we should be doing is finding out whether there is certain topics that we can agree on. Now, I'm concerned that you are going down the wrong path of Islam, and I am concerned that you could end up on a terror watch list because you are going to follow that religion to a T. Now,
I don't know what happened there. The Most High said, God! Yeah, Bob, this is a joke. Let me just quickly get my back. You get me? I have to turn on my camera for this. You get me? Man made me turn on the camera.
right, one sec.
Yeah.
RASPECT, I thought you ran off from me.
No, I only make devils run still. I don't run from no man.
I didn't think you were the type of person to run from people.
I don't run from no man. I have to turn on my camera.
Look, not like me in Liverpool, which I heard what you put out.
Yeah. I wouldn't run like you in Liverpool. Bigger, and that's the thing. When you say man's Anglophobic, yeah, understand that those white people in Liverpool are my family. Like they understand, yeah, that like it's not no Anglophobic. It's not no Anglophobia. Those are white people who stand up against fascism, racism, and terrorism. Just like, yeah, the real guy who was on the terrorist watch, Martin Selner, yeah, who literally was not letting this country because the powers that be, yeah, saw it as a having a negative effect on the country. Yeah, remember the person who done.
Anyway, you've cut across me again, RASPECT. You've cut across me again. You keep doing it. Now, look, in regards to Liverpool, I had like 30 or 40 blokes. Now, I'm not a fighter like you. I can't fight for shit. My girlfriend usually looks after me, which, you know, or I have mates to look after me, right? I'm not a fighter, yeah? These people that attack me are violent, degenerate left-wing scumbags that support a communist ideology and support people like Jeremy Corbyn. So what we've discussed so far, I've got about 14 minutes left before I need to go, yeah? But what we need to discuss now is where you sit on the political spectrum, because from what I can gather, you're a young black male that's been influenced by Muslims who are now going to brainwash you into this inherently violent ideology. So there's just one question I want to ask before we go on to politics, and that is, do you, in regards to British foreign policy, do you believe that it is that the terror attacks that happened in England are justified because of the actions of the Tony Blair government?
I just find it, first thing I find funny is how, like, with Muslims, when an Arab does something wrong, you'll blame Islam, but if white Christians do something wrong, you don't blame Christianity. That is a big hypocrisy, because they done it under the name of the Bible, under the guise of the Bible. They created a slavery Bible just to justify it. You know what I'm saying? And all of these things, yeah. That is a big misnomer that you created during this debate. During this debate, the only person that's been talking about Islam is you. Not me. I have not brought Islam. 1 minute. I didn't come into
you're on this path with Islam. So of course we're going to talk about something that you are yourself researching and hoping to become. RASPECT, in all honesty, mate, I just don't want you to be in the headlines for committing a terrorist attack against non-believers.
All right, James. Well, like, I don't want you to be like Martin Selner and be funded by a guy that goes into a mosque and shoots 50 people dead, women and children. Yeah, and Martin Selner, that was the freedom of speech that you all advocated for. Yeah, so I don't want you to do that either. Yeah, but the difference between me and you is, yeah, the minority.
I'm better looking.
One minute, let me tell you.
I'm better looking.
Listen. Whatever you say, whatever floats your boat, mate. Yeah, yo, like, you know what? One thing you saying that, yeah. You know, you and Simon, Sophia Lewis.
Oh, go on.
Tell us that story,
because
one right winger said that you and him was together for it, or you and it was.
No, that was what was his name? What's the guy that's got the tattoos? The Shiite guy. What's his name? He confronted John Cena, didn't he? And that. Oh, what's his name?
Modine.
Modine.
Yeah.
I see. I heard it was Modi.
No, it was you, cuz. It was you. You tried to get her in the DFLA and all of that. Anyway, it's cool.
Well,
you don't want to tell that.
DFLA
you don't want to tell that story, so it's all right, mate. We can just leave.
I will tell any story you want. I have nothing to hide. I'm an honest nationalist.
I'm telling you the best. But you know why? When Simon got asked on the panel, he started stuttering like a madman. That's what we do. Oh my gosh. But anyway, it's cool. Like, we don't have to go into that, yeah. And like I said, I didn't bring up Islam in this conversation. You brought up Islam because of your obsession with Islam. Now, let me tell you something, James. The kind of Muslim, that minority of Muslims, because remember, I've got Somali family.
It's 25% RASPECT, which equates to there's 1.6 billion Muslims.
1 minute,
it's about 250 million radical people that want to kill
James,
us. Carry on.
You cry when you get cut, but then you're cut, man. The minority of Muslims, I know Muslims. You don't know Muslims.
I do know Muslims. I've worked with them my entire life. I'm from Leicester. I've lived in Spain, worked with Muslims.
Yo, listen, James. With a mentality like yours, yeah, to the point where white people in Liverpool, yeah, not black people, not Muslims, white people in Liverpool, yeah, felt appalled by your presence there, yeah. You're never going to be able to connect to those sort of white people. You're going to call them scum and all of that. I see those white people as people that have always treated man with humanity, love. They're angry because they don't want racism to continue. And they feel like it's people of Tommy Robinson and his supporters' mindset that perpetuates that racism. That's what they're trying to stand against. You can call them what you want to call them, yeah. And that's why, you know, I'm not Anglophobe. I'm just like, I like people with humanity and don't just think about themselves, yeah. I'm not.
So why do you follow Islam? If you like people with humanity, why do you follow a religion?
Let me explain. Do you want to answer? Do you want to answer? Do you want to answer? Because like I said, the prophet that you're describing, I don't know him. I don't know that guy.
Yeah, of course you don't,
bro, why are you cutting me, cuz? Like, no.
I'm not cutting you at all. I don't cut anybody.
All right. If you had read a science book 3 times over and over again, yeah, and you had sat down with loads of scientists, not to try and curse the scientists or judge the scientist, but to genuinely understand what the scientist is on, yeah, then you would have a better understanding of science than me, yeah. And I'm telling you that you haven't read the whole Quran. I just licked a verse at your head, yeah, that you never even heard before, and you would never quote that Islam teaches stuff like this. You never tell me that side of the story. No, listen. No. You're not gonna cut me. You're not gonna cut me. You're not gonna cut me. You're not gonna do that, James. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna do that. Yeah, you're not gonna cut me. What I'm saying is the minority. Like I said, I've got Somali family, yeah. And you said Tommy Robinson wasn't racist when he said that Somalis are backward barbarians. Yeah, if that ain't racism, you lot are blind to racism. Nothing's racist to you lot. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I've got Somali family, I've got Gambian family, I've got Nigerian family, I've got East African, Ethiopian family, I've got family right across that are Muslims. Yeah, you told me that, oh, they're not looking out for me. My Muslim brother Malcolm X looked out for me, yeah, more than anyone that is even alive today from the black community. Yeah, Malcolm X looked out for me now more than anyone that's alive today in the black community. My Muslim brother Malcolm X, yeah. So what I'm trying to show you is let me tell you something, James. The Muslim, the minority of Muslims, yeah, that think like that, kuffar this, kuffar that, got the ISIS, FBI, ISIS sort of mentality because they work for the FBI, yeah, they're agents of division and agents of confusion. Them man there, I can't lie. Them man there, if them man was Islam to me, yeah, I don't like them man. And them man there, if anything, they didn't push me away from Islam because I'd studied Islam independently, so they couldn't do that. But them man will make someone not really want to be amongst the Muslims because it's like them man feel like you have to be anti to everyone, yeah. But let me tell you something, James, yeah. So that man was doing a disservice to their religion. The Muslims that cuss all the time, dirty Catholic, they do a disservice to their religion and they chase people away. Yeah, but let me tell you something. The people that made me actually respect and understand Islam, and will even make a man want to become Muslim, are people like you, people like Sarah, because you man just attack it for no reason. Attack it.
Right. Let me have one say now, please.
One minute. What I'm trying to show you is what you're trying to do. The reverse effect is going to happen. You're going to make more people become Muslim than actually anyone that studies for themselves. Anyone that's willing to take your word for it. Yes, but like remember, like amongst my community, amongst my brothers, my cousins, my uncles, I have Muslims, and I know what they're on, and I know that in this country, some of the safest place to be is around Muslims, practicing Muslims.
Yeah, as long as you're not a non-Muslim. Please let me have my say now, right? Look, we've gone on about the Islam thing for far too long. That's probably my fault instead of yours. At the end of the day, I'm trying to ask
now you don't want to talk about Islam no more.
Please, let's respect. Please show some restraint and allow me to finish. I've been very receiving, though I may agree with.
Now you don't want to talk about Islam no more.
Well, I've still been very courteous towards you. And look, defending an ideology, you want to know when we speak about Islam is because we see the threat that it poses. For me, Islam, now that I'm more awake and now I've done more research, it's just the one issue. We have to target the snake's head that's allowing this to happen. Now, whether you like it or not, for me and almost everybody in this chat, Islam poses a threat, and it poses a threat to each and every person within this country. Okay, and the sooner people wake up to that, the better. Now, people that are criticizing Islam aren't going to push people into following Islam. People that choose to follow Islam, in my opinion, need mental help, right? Because you should not follow a belief system that advocates for the death of non-believers, that advocates for children to be married off. You do not follow that, and you certainly don't put a paedophile on a pedestal, right? That's just one issue, yeah, in regards to Islam. Now, I want to touch on your political views, and I want to see where you are on the political spectrum. Now, from what I can gather, you are supported. Well, you've said that you stand with the people in Liverpool that attacked me. So where do you sit on the political spectrum? Are you a Jeremy Corbyn supporter? Or please educate me. We've got about 10 minutes left, mate. I really want to know where you sit on the political side of things, as well as now we've got the religious side.
I don't know if you know, but I don't stand with the people that attacked you, but I know why they was frustrated with your presence where they are.
So do you support their attack on me?
I understand that. I didn't really do nothing to you, so it was funny. You get me? But I wouldn't want.
I got punched and kicked. I had the guy trying to hit me with a hammer.
One minute. Yeah. Let me tell you about me. Yeah. I'm the guy when Danny Tomo had some Muslims, some non-Muslims. I'm
not interested. I don't care about Danny Tomo.
No. I'm telling a story that's literally on content over everything. Yeah. Danny Tomo was getting harassed by some non-Muslim, some Muslim, yeah. Everyone was riling up. The police had to get involved, yeah. And me and a Muslim Somali, what Tommy would call a backward barbarian, civilized, stopped the whole crowd, and we walked Danny Tomo out, yeah. We ensured his safety, and me and that Muslim Somali that Tommy would call a backward barbarian think it's not racist. We had a good conversation with them man, and them man went in peace. Yeah, so that's how
is Somalia a failed state?
That's what would happen.
Is it an uncivilized country?
Listen. That I see bombing innocent women and children as uncivilized. So what you think is civilized and what I think is civilized is two completely different things. And maybe that's why I think that you're brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, hurting innocent people, that's uncivilized. And the most bombs are being dropped from the NATO, UK, America. We know who's been, at the top of globalizing the world. Not to say if Saudi Arabia didn't have the power, they would be doing it as well. But right now, we just got to look at who's doing the power and who's doing what. Yeah, and when we look at that, I'm not telling you to feel ashamed for slavery or anything like that.
It wasn't me that was slave owner. I don't care.
I didn't tell you to feel ashamed for slavery. That's something you just spat out just randomly. Yeah, I've never told anyone to feel ashamed for slavery. If me talking to you about my history, if me just literally being a black man who's brave and bold enough to talk about my history makes you come out with all of that stuff, it kind of shows me what's in your heart. Because I haven't said anything that has tried to make white people feel ashamed about anything. I criticize white people, Arabs, and black people all the same. We're colorism, we're oppression, we're the black Nigerians who are selling our brothers to the Libyans that are trafficking them. I condemn it all, family. And I don't have no problems doing that. Yeah, I don't care who's my friend and who's my enemy. I ain't got no friends. You know what I'm saying? All I got is the Most High, and whoever the Most High brings into my circumference. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to show you is you have this view, yeah, that comes from, I don't know where it comes from, but I have a different experience to you. Me is people that have a right-wing mentality growing up, yeah, that have not only attacked my elders, but they also attacked me. It wasn't Muslims. Yeah. Me growing up in this country, like I've never been stopped by a woman in a cab for no reason, but I've been stopped by police because of the color of my skin. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not because of the color of your skin. It's because if this is the whole thing about this stop and search thing. Perhaps if, you know, this whole gang mentality of killing people, selling drugs and leading a degenerate lifestyle wasn't glorified, then they wouldn't be stopping. People need to stop with this gang violence. It's getting nowhere. Drill videos, selling drugs. What is it actually doing? It's affecting and decimating your communities where you've got young black children murdering each other.
100%.
But I think
100%. And I'm a main advocate. Yeah, if you look at my work, yeah,
I know you've done a lot of work on that.
When it comes to gang violence, we're probably the only organization, gang, guiding the new generation, that has marched from ends to ends. Yeah. Ends to ends, yeah, and we've actually caused ceasefires and truces. When a girl got shot down in Tottenham and there were stabbings every day, there was no violence in Tottenham for over 2 weeks, coming up to 3 weeks. Yeah. So when it comes to gang violence, on top of that, we have a department called G Grinders. You know what I'm saying? And we've got the Hustlers Holy Book. Yeah, and we go into the community amongst the youth, and we show that, and anyone can get that in my description that's listening as well. Hustlers Holy Book, it's at the bottom of the description. Yeah, get yours, because
you're gonna send me a copy.
Yeah, you can just get it on Amazon. I'll send you the link now. Still, you know what I'm saying?
Sweet. See, look, right, Raspect. Let me
answer you, though, because you're talking about the drill youths. You get me? So you must want to hear what we're doing about. That's what I'm saying. Like, if your questions are like genuine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are. Sorry, I've interrupted. Carry on with what you were saying.
Yeah, because we're talking about these drill youths. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying the stuff that we're doing. Yeah. To try to detract from what the drill youths are doing. So you have brothers like you've got big brothers. You know what I'm saying? Out here. Yeah. Like Faz. You got Mac right off road. Our brother who does the knives down, bikes up. That's a black brother that came to the G Circle. Yeah, that runs that. Enough white kids riding through London. You know, you've got bare different races, but there's bare white youths, yeah, that are knowing to put their knives down and put their bikes up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a brother from the hood, from the ends, that's doing that. For loads of youths, because it's not just black youths stabbing people, bro. Yeah, there's there might be a more epidemic in our community, and that's because of a lack of knowledge of self. That's because we don't know our history. That's because we don't know our name. We don't know our roots. You know what I'm saying? So
you know your history, mate. You know the fact that you are of African heritage.
Bro, are you listening? Are you listening? I know my history because I've had to study my history. You don't learn my history in school. Yeah, a lot of them haven't done the time.
Well, we do learn about the slave trade.
A lot of them was like me. Yeah, a lot of them was like me when I was growing up. Listen. Yeah, I grew up in this country just like them. Yeah, not thinking the only road for me, yeah, was gang violence. Yeah, like that. They feel like there's nowhere else man can fit in. Man can't be a doctor. Man can't be none of it. Man can't be an entrepreneur. Man just feels like that is what they've got for us, this hood, this slum, and this is it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm a brother that's fortunate enough to educate myself on my history, on my travels when I lived in Jamaica for 2 years. And then when I read the Hustlers Holy Book, I understood that I don't have to just be hustling on the streets. I can think differently. I can use my skills and my talents, whether it's in music, whether it's in engineering, and I can try and, you know, make something happen. It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not as easy as going out and licking a shop. It's much harder, but it's much more, there's much more benefit because it's clean. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that this is what we're going out and we're inspiring the youth through the G Grinders, through the Hustlers Holy Book, and we're changing them from that mentality. So that's something that we're addressing. Now, that doesn't take away from the fact that the most violence comes from this country and its foreign policy. They're like, what these men are doing on the road is small fry. These men ain't gangsters compared to the president and the MPs. These MPs lick off MP5.
You can't conflate those two issues together, because look, at the end of the day, there is gang violence that's taking place.
Yeah,
and it's not just in London. It's all over the
but don't act like them man are the worst. But what I've got a problem with is when people make them man seem like they're the worst people in society when they're MPs. No, bro, at least them man deal with the consequences, fam. You got a man that's sitting in a chair in the House of Commons that's gonna sign a letter and 2,000 people are gonna die somewhere. Like, He's not even got the guts and the bravery to go out on the front line and deal with the consequence of his actions. One minute. He sends some poor white youths from some part of London that don't have a lot of opportunities, yeah, to go and die for him. Yeah, he's the biggest coward. At least the brothers on the roads, we have to go to these funerals. Yeah, we have to see the dead. The dead are our family as well. So when you're talking about violence, yeah, and you're talking about evil, and you're talking about wickedness, I'm telling you, it starts in the House of Commons and the House of Lords when man are signing off to go to other countries.
Listen, respect. I despise the political class, but the thing is, at the end of the day, we don't want violence on our streets, right? So you can't say that somebody that sells drugs and goes stabbing people up on road is the same as the politicians in Parliament, because it's not all politicians.
No, they're worse. The politicians are worse.
Please let me finish, Respect.
Go on.
Please
go on.
Right? At the end, like we've said, we've gone over the same thing over and over, right? At the end of the day, there are problems within the black community that only the black community can address, right? You need to be the ones that are asking why our young children are dying, why our young children think it's acceptable to sell drugs, to stab people, and to go around in these gangs, right? That's what the black community needs to be doing, rather than focusing on the fact that there's apparently institutional racism within our country. Let's look at our own communities and work together to address these problems.
I
don't want young black people being murdered on the streets of London, and I'm sure you don't either.
100%. And I want to go to the root of the problem.
For it is no answer.
All right, 100%. I don't want my people with these guns and these drugs. You know what I got to do? I got to go to the root of the problem. Yeah? And when I go to the root of the problem, I got to see who's manufacturing these guns and drugs, who's distributing these guns and drugs at the highest level. And whether you're talking about guns or whether you're talking about drugs, I'm still going to find myself at some people that are not black. Yeah, so the fact of the matter is, when you're talking about this issue, yeah, and you're talking about the guns getting on the roads, and you're talking about the drugs getting on the roads, who's the people that's bringing it in? Like, I come from that place.
Who's the people that's choosing to sell it? Black people are choosing to sell it.
One minute, bro. Back in the day, when man was a youth, yeah, like, if man wanted to score, man would come to your right-wing rallies, fam. Because them man are sniffing up coke like hell, bro. Them man sniff hella coke, yeah? So you man are taking it like mad as well, you know what I'm saying, fam? So you can't just look at them, man. When man's walking down the road, James, and I got a white guy asking me, can I get this? Can I get this? They always, I was 12 years old.
One minute,
James.
If I wanted drugs and I knew, you know,
James, I was 12 years old with white guys coming up to me, asking me if I can get this and get that. Yeah. And then after a while, James, what happened is, I knew my man's got this and my man's got that. And guess what, James? My mum ain't got no electric. My mum's complaining and struggling. So you know what I done, James? I linked up with my man. I took this from my man and went to my man and came back to my man with the peas. And like, my man's cool. He likes what he wants. You get me? His weed bags or whatever he wants, and this guy's cool.
Sorry,
I'm sure.
I can't allow you to say that because your mum didn't have electricity, right? It's something for you to know, yeah? I come from a single parent council house where it was just me and my mum, yeah? Me and my mum were poor as fuck. We had nothing. At no point did I think to go out and buy drugs and start selling them. It's a lifestyle choice. It's a lifestyle choice that too many black people are choosing to take because they want fast cash without having to actually work.
That's a lie. That's a lie because it's white people at the top. Bro, James Goddard it's your cousin at the top, fam. Like, at the top, the guy that they're going to get the thing from is your cousins, bro. Like, so what are you talking about? Like, the only difference with us, yeah, is that when we do dirt, we're bait about it. We'll own it. Like, man will be stupid enough to go onto a music song and say, yes, I did this and that. The thing about when the foreign policy or when these white guys get involved in murders and get involved in violence is they know how to hide it and keep it shum and smile in your face. But at least I hate it. I hate what's going on in my community. But at least them man are real, innit? Yeah, at least them man ain't fake about it. You know what I'm saying? You man are out here smiling in man's face, you know what I'm saying? And biting man with a smile.
Respect. How am I fake? I've just told you the truth. The fact that we both come from the same background, yeah?
But you can't tell me why I done what I done.
I told you that I come from nothing, right?
No, you don't come from nothing. Bro, listen, James.
Let me finish,
no, but could you cut me, yeah? Let me just finish saying what I'm saying, yeah? Bro, that's what I'm saying about history, yeah? I come up, yeah? My mum telling me, yeah, that I knew about the history of slavery and these things. Yeah, I'm thinking, 1 minute, bruv, we've done so much to contribute to this place, yeah? And this is how my mum's living, fam. I didn't care about the system. I didn't care about the rules. And I had no hope in the education system. Yeah, no hope. I didn't think I could be a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that.
Why not? Why not?
There's
plenty of black doctors. There's plenty of black nurses. There's plenty of black footballers.
I had a teacher, yeah, that told me, a white teacher, yeah, that told me I ain't ever gonna turn up to be anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are stuff that, like, when you hear Skepta's songs and Skepta saying, my teacher told, you know, the reason why Bear Man like that bar is because Bear Man heard that bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, in school, I had that sentiment. So I'm saying that if I could go back here, I'd tell myself, bruv, you can do whatever you want to do. Put your mind to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm telling the youths now. We're giving them insights into education, apprenticeships, and entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I haven't recognized, but that's where I was at then. Yeah, and on top of that, the feds don't treat man proper. No one's treating man proper. Man didn't care about nothing but my mum. I didn't care nothing about my family. You know what I'm saying? And even now, I grind hard to make sure mum's cool anytime she needs it. You get me? But now it's a thing where I'm at a higher level. Cause I didn't stoop down to their level. I rose above it. But you can't act like these are stuff that is just the black community, bro. There's enough white youths involved in these same things in cities where there's no black people. Yeah, there's still coke going round. There's still 9 people getting stabbed. This shit's happening everywhere.
Respect, I'm not denying the fact that there's white people that are going around stabbing people. What I'm saying is the fact that that rightfully so, and you're doing this work, is that you are encouraging people not to go down that gang lifestyle. And this is a problem, right? I don't want to be hearing about young black people being murdered. I don't want to hear about anyone being murdered, but it's glorified in these YouTube drill videos. And it's something that, please let me finish. It's something that has to stop. Now, I've literally got 5 minutes left because we've been on here for an hour and 35 now. I think we're going to have to do this again and have a bit more structure. It's probably my fault this time, but we'll go over to yours next time. But what I want to know is where do you sit on the political spectrum?
I stand with the oppressed.
No, I'm asking you, where do you sit? What side of the political spectrum are you on?
I stand with my people. So first,
right, okay, right. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish with these 4 questions for you.
1 minute. Let me answer. You ask the question. Where do I sit in it? Yeah, I'm not right or left because they're 2 different wings of the same bird. Yeah, I stand with my people. Yeah.
So who's your people? Just black people?
1 minute. That starts, yeah, in the black community. Yeah, because when I was out in this country, yeah, like all man had was the black community around, man. I've lived in Tottenham. I've lived in Hackney. I've lived in Brixton, I've lived in Ladbroke Grove, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, amongst that black community, you have people from all different races that are like man's brothers. I'll keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? They're family. Right now, I've got a Greek brother sitting here in my yard. That's my family. Yeah, like, so it's like there's no difference based upon the heart. It's a heart thing. You get me? It's just how you connect and vibrate with people. And then you got some black people out there that I would never call my own. You've got black Europeans. Yeah, I ain't even going to give that name.
So that's just a dig at the Europeans.
No, that's not. It's not. It's really not. No. James, listen. James, 1 minute, James, you cut me. James, you cut me, and then you got the wrong end of the stick as well. Yeah, a black European.
It's hard to get a word in edgeways.
No, because you. But bro, you're gonna want to hear what I got to say. I promise you. Because I just said black European and you said it's a dig at the Europeans. No, there's an actual individual online, yeah, a woman who calls herself black European that says that she wished that when she sold the slaves, yeah, she wished that more of us died on the way than came here. So that there's a real person, yeah. I'm not saying it's not like I made up. It's a woman that's online. Jupiter and all of that will tell you I'm not lying. And she calls herself black European. But I'm saying her mentality, the way she looks at us and hates black people. Like, she would never be my sister. She's an alien to me. Do you get it? That's what I was explaining. So I wasn't saying no sliding at Europeans. You got to take it up with the people that are calling themselves black Europeans.
Right, look, right. I've got about 5 minutes. So I'm going to say this. Evening, Lucy Brown. Good to see you in here watching. So I'm going to say this to finish with, right? We've had this chat this evening. I asked you if you was a follower of Islam. You refused to answer. You just said that you studied it. I've asked you numerous questions about Islam. You did agree that Muhammad's example was perfect for all of time. So with you agreeing with that, you endorse paedophilia, you endorse terrorism, and you endorse the subjugation of all people that aren't Muslim. In my humble opinion, you have been led down the garlic. So I do apologise about that. I've got food on the plate. You've been led down the garden path by people that want to use you, your victimhood mentality, and grab you on board with the Muslims because they want to use you. Okay. You, for me, are in what I would suggest is you are a black nationalist. Well, I'll say not supremacist because you're a black nationalist. You want what's best for your people, and I have absolutely no problem with that. What I will say, though, is if you truly did care about Africa, you truly cared about your heritage, your people, your culture, and your history, then you would move back to Africa and you would ensure that you could make Africa great again. But you are not going to do that. For me, you are somebody that is happy to. You're happy to, how do I say this? You're happy to constantly talk about racism and constantly talk about slavery that happened before any of us were alive. You aren't affected by slavery. I'm not affected by slavery. And the thing about it all is, I just don't want you to be used by the Muslims, which is clearly what they're doing. They've clearly poisoned your mind into believing that Islam is peaceful, it's great, and it's tolerant, when it's far from it. Islam is a supremacist ideology, which unfortunately has got you in its crosshairs. And what I want to do now is I am going to make you my conversion. I am going to bring you over to the good side. And I don't want you to go down this path any longer, because ultimately, RASPECT, if you keep following Islam, then you will end up in hell. And I don't want you to spend an eternity in hell. So I am going to pass over to you. Before I do, I just want to thank you for coming on here tonight and talking to me. You've been absolutely fantastic. You haven't interrupted a few times like I have, but it's genuinely been a civil debate. And like I said, I would love to do this again.
James,
and like I said, one last thing is, please come out of the clutches of Islam, because they haven't got your best interests at heart. And I would hate for you to be on the front page of the Sun or the Daily Mail committing acts of terrorism against the indigenous population of the United Kingdom. Over to you, sir.
All right. So, yeah, I have not brought up Islam once in this conversation, yeah? You have brought up Islam. I'm not in no clutches of anybody, yeah? Like I said, I judge Christianity as I judge Islam. And if I'm going to condemn Christians, I'm going to condemn Muslims. Or I'm going to realize that people, even though the ideology says righteousness, people can do other things. So I judge the people, not the religion. And that works in your favor, because if I do suddenly convert to what you're saying and I start judging Muslims, I will judge Christians all the same. I'll judge Christians more, because my history has more Christians, European Christians that have influenced my personal history. I don't have a history of any Muslim enslavers or Muslims were my allies. Muslims are my ancestors, Fulani. So like I can't really, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so like I don't understand all of that, yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, you brought up Islam because it's a diversion, yeah. Like that was not what the debate is about, yeah. So one day, next time we debate, yeah, we debate about the politics. I'm talking to you as a black man. I'm not talking to you as a Christian or a Muslim or anything like that, yeah. On a little bit after that, yeah, we can do the Islamic discussion if you want to go there, yeah. Now the age of consent in the highest ages of consent, like Morocco, it's 18, yeah. There's more countries, Christian countries, with like lower actual ages of consent, like 12 and 13, and you know what I'm saying? Like Muslims have a very high age of consent when you look at the different ages of consent in the world. So even that is a bit of a it's a misrepresentation of Muslims. And then another thing is, you're literally asking me, James Goddard, let's say Malcolm X was alive today and he came to the UK to go to Oxford University, you're asking me to go to Oxford University to cuss Malcolm X. No. I'll be saying, alhamdulillah, yeah. Right with my brother Malcolm X, I'll keep it 100, yeah. So I've got a problem with Muslims that misrepresent Islam. And those are the Muslims that you seem to be thinking are representing Islam. That's where our debate is about Islam. You think these bad people represent it. I think these good people represent it. That's the debate we can have another day. Yeah.
Just quickly, I don't think you're aware of my solution. Like, I'm quite happy to deport the entire Muslim populations of Europe. I've offered to give you all £5,000 to £10,000 to leave and go and practice your barbaric religion somewhere else. The reason I brought up Islam was because I know that your girlfriend's Muslim, and I also know that you've studied it and you've stood with the Nation of Islam. So to me, you're just a Muslim that won't admit he's a Muslim.
Yeah, my girlfriend's not Muslim. I don't know who told you that. That's the first thing. Yeah, but like one thing I do know, is that 1 minute. Yeah.
Come on, Raspect. This has been good fun tonight.
Yeah. No, for me, I love ripping you, man. I can't lie.
I love ripping you up because you're just a little dimmy for the Muslims. It's great.
I haven't mentioned Islam. You're obsessed with Islam.
Because you're following it, you're studying it, you're with the Nation of Islam, and it's one of the other issues. I mean, if you want to talk about anything else, we can pencil that in.
Before we go, though, do you want to tell us about your girlfriend who runs the Naughty Nude Cleaners business?
But that's not true, though, is it? That was a lie that was fabricated by the left.
Okay, cause there's a number there where you can get Naughty Nude Cleaners. Someone sent it to me.
Yeah, you know what happened, don't you? You know the lefties.
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Phone number out, Respect.
Okay.
But you know what? I'd rather have a go. You know, I'm not going to go into that. I know the truth, and we all know the truth.
Now, big up the Muslim sisters. Big up all my Muslim. Are you listening? Big up all my Muslim sisters, cause they're some of the most pious, calm, beautiful,
murdering, paedophilic, rapey.
No, bro, that's you're talking about your old people.
No, I'm talking about Islam.
Bro, who does paedophilia the most in this country? Who are the biggest?
Muhammad was the biggest.
No, white people in the UK, and they go and sex tourism, yeah, in other countries, and in the UK, we know who like does the most paedophilia, yeah. I ban the groomers, because I know you're gonna get at, so ban those groomers, yeah, but ban all the paedophilias. You get me? And most of them are white. You all know that. It's not. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Last question to finish off with. Are we allowed British people? Are we entitled to want to remain a majority in our own homeland, or is that racist for me wanting to become to remain a majority in my homeland? Is that racist for me to think that?
I think that you've been sold a conspiracy theory. We are 6% of this country. You're not going to be replaced anytime soon. Most cities in London have got 80% white people, 90% white people. It's only London where there's even
Birmingham, Leicester.
Yeah, there's couple cities where there's
Birmingham, London, Leicester, Luton, Bradford,
one minute. But as soon as you get on the outskirts of Birmingham, which is a lot of land, or the outskirts of London, or the outskirts of anywhere, you're gonna be seeing only white people for days. You're all right, man. Trust me. 100%. You're all right, James. I promise you, 6%. No one's replacing anyone anytime soon. It's a conspiracy.
Respect. One last thing though. You said I believe in a conspiracy theory. From what I can gather, you believe in the ideology that people believe Muhammad flew up to heaven on a unicorn and split the moon in half. Demographics is real. Unfortunately, we are becoming a minority in our own homeland. So on that note, I'm going to shoot off. Respect. Thank you for having me on.
One minute, bro. In the Bible, I also believe in Elijah, yeah? And for me, I'm very spiritual, so it could be metaphorical, could be literal, yeah? But I also believe in Elijah who went up to the chariot of fire, yeah? I also believe in Elisha. I believe in Isaac. I believe in Solomon. I believe in David. I believe in all of the prophets. So and all of the prophets done miraculous things, my brother.
Except Muhammad.
So well, you just said he done something miraculous, didn't it? And
Islam except Muhammad. Yeah. Muhammad didn't do it. He didn't split the moon in half. He didn't go to heaven on a unicorn, did he? He didn't. This is the point.
Good conversation. Peace be with you. Salam alaikum.
Respect. Yeah? It's okay to be white, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
I never called you racist, and I never said that it's not okay to be white. Yeah, never said that once.
Hey, mate, listen, you take care, and hopefully you'll be you'll be one of my conversions, and you'll see the light.
We'll do this again sometime, definitely.
See you soon.
All right, peace.
So, that was a very, very interesting conversation. And
you know, you got to say salams on the way out. Trust me. Yeah, give them salams, blood. You get me? It burns their heart, you know, fam. Trust me. It burns their heart. Trust me, fam. Anyway. Anyway. Well, go on. Tell a friend to tell a friend we're live again in the Lions Den where the vibes don't end, but with the wicked them winner. With the wicked them winner. Now that you're listening. You see how that Islam thing? You get what I'm saying, family? Yeah? And man, and then I know everyone's sorry. Like, cause that's why I want to debate these man. See bear these man on these right wingers. They're the real ones doing the takia along with Black Collector and them man there. You get me? Like, trust me, fam, yeah? Trust me when I tell you, James Goddard, yeah, that's Tommy's right hand man. So when you hear the pigeon and all these man, they are nobodies. Yeah? These man is really in the movement, part of the movement. You're hearing him talk about black people, yeah? Yeah, he's keeping it 100. That's one thing I like about James. I like that. But, and then he tries to divert to Muslims. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, big up everyone in the place. You get me? Big up the 129 likes. We're still in these things so we can hear what he says still.
Babe, I'm done.
Yeah, but let me tell you lot something, yeah? Let me tell you lot something, car. You know, the fireman don't run, innit? You get me? Lucky. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Big up the 130 likes. Big up everyone in the place. You know what I'm saying? We lined it up for you. A lot of people was asking for this debate. Yeah, whether they was part of the family or whether they was in the right wing, no matter, like loads of different people. So big up everyone in the place. Yeah. Anyone that wants to support the channel or send a message. Did anyone send a message to James Goddard? Don't tell me I missed the message because I was into that debate, fam. Like I didn't even look at even the messages anyway. Oh no, he didn't say nothing. Big up Osama still. Not Bin Laden still. just to clarify, still. Someone's name still. Aki. But yeah, anyone feeling the show, you get me? Yeah, you can click the link and support the channel. The second link in the description is the Patreon. That's where you can get exclusive content. Yeah, where you got the G Grinders movement. That's where you're gonna see the planning first, everything first, music first, and exclusive shows and live streams that are no longer available. You get me? And I've got the website on the screen, RASPECT Rebellion. You can sign up to the mailing list if you want. You get me? And download the Brave web browser. There's enough stuff, and you got the Hustlers Holy Book. It's all in the description. You get me? So people can just check it out within their own time. You know what I'm saying? Big up just everyone for being here. Big up 134 likes and big up. You know what I'm saying? You know my thing already. I'm not a man that wants for nothing still. You get me? But sincerity. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I do need. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like, oh shit. And the people that are asking for it, it's not personal still. It's not personal still. People don't want the tune. Cause you know the fireman don't run, and you know the fireman don't run out of fire. Yeah, you know Rasta don't run out of fire. Did you know that? Trust me, I was only getting started. Yeah, and one thing I clocked was all the diversion tactics, bare diversion tactics. So, and I'm sorry to say names, yeah, I'm sorry to say names, but like I ain't gonna say no names, but everyone in the community that was saying, oh yeah, why is Respect debating Tommy Robinson? Them man don't affect us. They only want the Muslims. One, if they only wanted the Muslims, I got Muslims in my family. I'm burning fire first, yeah, and that's how I've been from barn, yeah. And they can't even be converted any other way, cause that's my heart. Same way, if Muslims are trying to oppress non-Muslims, I'm always gonna fight against, man. Are you mad? Do you know your religion, fam? Do you know what your religion teaches, bro? Put some respect on the Prophet. Peace be upon him. Are you mad? Yeah? I don't like oppressors. Yeah? And the sound of the night being is death to all oppressors with no apology. Yeah? Death to all oppressors. the white oppressors, the black oppressors, with no apology. A man stand for the oppressed no matter where they're at. Yes, I got to deal with oppression in the black community, but you think I like to see when I see the places like Syria and a child with her arm hanging off? You think that makes she's Syrian, so it don't affect me, blood? That hurts my heart. Any war-torn country, blood, could be white, Chinese. Especially the youths that are affected, but even the big people. A man lose his wife and these things. I don't like that going on in the world. I ain't gonna turn a blind eye because those people don't look like me, because that's what some other people done. You know what I'm saying? So you got a choice. When people look the other way, when you're going through oppression, we've all got a choice. We can either do what they done to us and look the other way when we see other people in oppression, or we can turn our head. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man that will turn my head regardless. Yeah? And I live by that. You know what I'm saying? And that's way before even primary school. That's just in my chest. I can't even be no other way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? So anytime, if there's a Muslim that's oppressing like that man that done the oppressing in Libya and came back and done it here, if I knew he was going to do that, I would have been the first one to lick him down. Are you mad? Would have lick him down, fam. Are you mad? You think I'm letting anyone hurt any innocent people? Same way, if I could lick down the people them that are killing these innocent children, I would as well. Anyone, bruv. Anyone hurting innocent people, bruv. It's fire, innit? If I see anyone, and this is for anyone, you know, fam. This tune applies to all of them, and it's bare of them. Yeah, they call themselves different names. They claim to be different things, but deep in their heart, like they got wickedness, fam. Yeah. And anytime they come around the fireman, they might run, devil man, run, devil man, run, devil, run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Yo, Hector! Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Fireban. Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Fireban. Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run, devil man, run. Fireban. Come on, brothers, stop fighting and look what the evil done. Look at the great those towers. Look how our people run. Man, I got different powers. Man, I don't need no bomb. Send that spiritual fire. That near one Babylon. Fire. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna do a breakdown to this show, but I'm gonna start a new stream still. I'm gonna start a new stream, and yeah, there'll probably be you never know. You get me? James I was surprised. I was surprised James was even talking about part 2 after today. I thought he was gonna say, yeah, I don't know if I could talk to you again. Respect, but I rate him still a little bit. Cause yeah, I look forward to a part 2. I can't lie. Yeah, cause there's a lot of stuff, and we'll deal with like the politics first time as a black man living in this country. No Islam, no Christianity, none of that. Yeah, and then the next time we can do the Islam thing. We can do the Islam thing. Well, we nice, B. We nice. Yeah. Cause when I caught blood, yeah, let me get one more time, yeah. Cause I don't think the people them heard me still. You get me? 1 minute. Yeah. And whoever don't follow this, blood, and the whole country can follow this and abolish slavery as well. That's the maddest thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's in the Quran, bruv. Yeah, man, want to think something else. Think what you want to think, innit? We're all gonna be judged on Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? But if I was the leader of a country, yeah, and I'm saying I'm a Muslim leader and I've got the ability, then obviously this is how I'm gonna live in it. Righteousness is not turning your faces towards the east or the west. Righteous are those who believe in God, the last day. Judgment Day, the angels. No, you got angels beside you. The scripture and the prophets, and all of them stood for righteousness. Yeah, with no impartiality. Yeah, and they gave the money cheerfully to the relatives, huh? And the orphans. What, the people that don't have mums and dads? What, it takes a village to raise a child? And the needy. What, them man gotta be nice as well. And the traveling alien, what? This man from, I don't know this man from Adam. He's just traveling through my bits. What? Yeah, this is why them man, they're courageous to fight against, man. And the beggars, and to free the slaves. Yeah, and they observe the contact prayers and give their obligatory charity. And they keep their word whenever they make a promise. All they have is your word and your what? And they steadfastly persevere in the face of persecution, hardship, and war. These are the truthful. These are the righteous. Come on, bro. Leave it out, bro. Yeah? Did you read the whole Quran? No. I read it a couple times. You know what I learned? Alright, let me tell you. Where was the answer to that? You know what I'm saying? But they want to ignore that still. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But yeah, don't worry. We soon get a shahada at you, James. Yeah, you say you're going to convert me. Yeah. Mind talking to me, you know, because I will tell you the truth, you know. But they can't hack the hack, you know. You know what I mean, fam? Fire Binky.
Roll.
Listen.
JE on the box.
One more time.
Roll. JE on the box. Rest don't run out of fire. Rest don't run out of fire. Rest don't run out. Rest don't run out of fire. 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 Rest don't run out of fire.
Let them know.
Rest don't run out of fire. 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 Fire. Always got fire for a Babylon liar. Always got fire for the Dutty Empire. Can't tell man about shotting food when you used to be a slave till the Anna stayed fire. Couldn't care if none of you like this. Do this for my brother that died, cuz the voice of the lifeless. And my brothers are sitting on license. Grind.
Yeah. No, my thing said it. Big shout out to the 143 likes. I'm setting up a new stream now. Yeah, I'm setting up a new stream now, so people then can jump on the panel. Let me send out the link and see who's about. I can just turn people over. It'll be interesting to see who's about, who wants to say something. So I'm gonna send out the StreamYard link from now while I'm setting up the thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we gotta break this one down. We gotta break this. This conversation deserves a breakdown still. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, yeah. Like I said, like me, I'll be civil for my man, civil and respectful. Like, so me and James Goddard can debate, but it ain't gonna be no sit down thing like you saw certain man with Tommy Robinson. Ain't gonna be that, fam. Yeah, man's gotta represent for my peoples, bruv. Man's gotta hear your man's gotta hear your side to the thing. Man's gotta know where it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so yeah, no more little lying pigeons. Yeah, the only right wing debates now that man's having, you get me? Yeah, we're having it with the guys who are at least in the thing, you get me? So yeah, be interesting. But one more time, big up the 144 likes. Anyone that wants to support the show or send a message, click the PayPal link. It's in the description and floating about in the chat. And for exclusive content, join the Patreon, you get me? But yeah, big up the family inside. Big up the 144 likes. I hope everyone enjoyed it. This one's going to get deeper. Big up Buddha in the building. Yeah, and I'm just setting up the other stream now still. Yeah, like literally right now.
Yo, big up Ras. Wagwan.
Wagwan, brother. How did I do, my bro?
You done well, man. You done well. But I think like a moderator next time would be good still.
Yeah.
Or like I think that, you know, I can't even say too much right about now, but we'll speak differently, innit? But yeah, I think a moderator would be good still.
Yeah.
Big chat.
I should have done. Next time we'll just put the camera up on the screen for everyone to see.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like if you let the guy talk and you listen to some of the stuff the guy says, you'll have more things to speak on. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like if you try too hard to put your point across, you know, I don't know. We'll speak about that differently though still. But yeah, man. You know what? I got some questions myself. I was dying to get on, funny enough. But so this guy, he's got his own YouTube channel and that.
Yeah. He's one of the main guy, right hand of Tommy. I wanted to ask him about Tan. That's what I had a couple stuff to go back on anyway. You get me? But yeah, he was the one that was done the security for Tan when he was screaming, guiding a nigger generation.
Yes.
Danny Tomo and James Goddard, didn't it? They was like the right hand and the left hand of Tommy, but they both left Tommy and kind of gone further towards like Mark Collette, further right.
Oh,
basically.
really?
Yeah. They're F-Nos now, isn't it?
Okay, that makes it. Right, so does he do live streams on a regular, or is it just a one-off thing?
Oh yeah, that man in that community, James Goddard he's quite well known because he heckled the that politician the other day. So like
yes.
The right hand and the left hand of Tommy, I'm saying like however known Tommy is, these men are gonna be known by most people that know Tommy. Do you know what I'm saying? Because these men are actually on the ground in Speaker's Corner as like the main two representatives at one point. Not anymore. James Goddard won't really defend him like that anymore. He might defend the fact that he's not racist, and I want to discuss that as well. But he won't defend like he doesn't like them not ain't getting on anymore, basically. And remember, I predicted this long time anyway.
What caused that division? Do you know?
Bro, I predicted this long time, fam. Like, listen. The minute you give credence to the Great Replacement, anyone Tommy movement, that's why it has to become ethno-nationalist. You have to go with Mark Collette over Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson just like even James Goddard still got a little bit of it in him. He's just talking about Islam. See Mark Collette, he's dealing with the like if there is a Great Replacement, he's dealing with that. So even though he's got his issues with Islam and he'll be open with it, you get me? He's got an issue with a whole other. He's got an issue with black people, Indians, like everyone of other ethnic minorities, because it's not ideology that can replace this country. If every Muslim converted tomorrow, there's still a chance they can unconvert and the country's white, innit? But if every white person got with a black person, then everyone will be mixed heritage, and you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't consider them to be English. So this is what they're fearful of. But I'm trying to show him, fam, black people are 3%. Calm down, cuz. You got full white towns, bruv. Like all over the place. Do you know what I'm saying? 90%, 80%, 75%. I need the actual, the one that got sent to me. That's not the one I got originally. There's one that actually breaks down all of the percentages, of the different cities, and it's only like certain places in London that got high demographics of black people. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere else, bro, it's white to the core, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I ain't got no problem with these men worrying too much and all of that, but it's the ideology that goes behind it. Still, can't lie.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking. I mean, I've had to think about it long and hard, but I can't be, hypocritical. I feel like if there was a country within Africa or the Caribbean that the population is predominantly black and there was an influx of Chinese people or English people, whatever, there'd be some serious social uprisings there. So I can understand their position, but it's a position that's mute because it's never going to happen. Do you understand?
Who cares, bro? Who cares if in 200, bro? Do you think any country stayed the same in the last million, however long the Earth's been here, fam? People have migrated, places have changed. Get over it. Like if 20,000 Polish people want to live in Jamaica and respect the land and all of that, get over it, man. Like. What, like in 20 years we're not even here anymore. Like it doesn't even matter to us. Just so long as people ain't in the land subjugating the people, innit? But what he's trying to do is he's trying to say black people have a mentality where if they was in majority, they would oppress us. But what he's using South Africa as his premix. But I'm trying to show him, bro, if Chinese people invaded England in the same fashion that that white South Africans invaded black South Africa, you lot would be doing worse. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you lot don't even like immigrants working for minimum wage, let alone some immigrants that came in and killed your babies and stomped on your head and made it a apartheid state. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, you know what it is? It's the shoes on the other foot. We've been feeling that kind of way since we got here. You understand? And now the shoes not even on the other foot. The fucking socks not even on yet. Never mind the shoes.
I'm with them. Let the indigenous people have the indigenous land. So, but I just want us to start with the people that have been genocided, innit? Like, let's start with America, Australia, South Africa, the places that have actually been genocided. Then we can start looking at all the other places and see how the people want to live. Because even that mentality, like the white people in majority might not feel like that. There might even be white people higher up that know how immigration works to their benefit. So they're for it, car. They're working for now. Yeah. So like they're gonna have to get like a majority. I don't think the majority of white people feel like that, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
they may not feel like that now, but if all this scaremongering and saying, yeah, you know what, you're gonna be what's the terminology they use? You're gonna be a minority in your own country. When people start hearing shit like that, you can only understand why they're gonna take the position of like being worried about it. I mean, look at Jamaica at the moment. When I've been watching the news in Jamaica, there's major issues with the Chinese going over there. Like they're screaming the same sort of shit these guys are screaming in certain areas. They're coming and taking our jobs, blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking, fuck you know, man, it's the same sort of shit these lot come out with. But I don't know. I feel like I wanna jump on one of these on this show and maybe have that conversation still, because it's you're scaremongering. That's what they're doing. Because in no way, shape, or form.
It's different though. 1 minute, Buddha. Different because when man's here, man's built up this country. We talking about the last 500 years. It's been on my back. Like man's saying, I got a victim mentality. No, I probably got the opposite of a victim mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel good. I feel right now. I can be in India, and if I want to go China right now, I can, bruv. This world is not no one's, bruv. It's only the creators, bruv. No man can't put no jurisdiction on no man. That's it. Just as long as a man's respect mischief in the land, then obviously that can't be had, innit? You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna have to be some sort of, you know, judicial system or whatever. But other than that, fam, man can go anywhere in this planet that I want, brother. No man can't tell me nothing. Because when the creator banned me, the creator didn't put no jurisdictions on me, fam.
About in actual fact, the victim mentality arc is coming from the right. The victim is, we are victims. We are minorities in our country. We this, we that, we this, victim that. So it's a bit, you know, to turn around and say, yo, respect, you got victim mentality. Bro, fuck off, man. Who's the one there screaming about you're going to get replaced? Who's really the victim in this situation or pretending to be the victim? You understand?
You're right there still. I think that's what I'm going to put to him next time if he's listening. Prepare for that one, James, because I do think that these men are the ones with the victim mentality. I think we're just dealing with it. I don't cry. I'm not crying about nothing, but if you ask me the question, I'm going to tell you what my history is. If that makes you start screaming out, I'm not racist and all of that, then that's in your heart. I didn't call you racist once. I didn't talk about Islam once. Not once.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. Like, you know, he dropped it. What did he say? He said something about you hate white people because of slavery. I didn't commit nothing to do with slavery, blah, blah, blah. But who the fuck said that in the first place? Who's saying that? Like, anyone's blaming you specifically for fucking slavery?
I was very clear. I've just sent out the link to the new stream, yeah? 1 minute, it needs to go now. Yeah? I was very clear, extremely clear, that I don't judge any one race where this is concerned. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm very equal with my judgment. But I'm going to talk about how chattel slavery has affected me as a black man. You know what I'm saying? That was born with a European last name. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got to tell my history. I've got to tell you who my brothers are. Malcolm X could have come to this country and I start going and talking to him about, yeah, you are Muslim. What's wrong with man? Like, I don't have that thing. But what it is he put the Islam thing out there to basically discredit man to those people, especially these people. I got to say the name Sarah and the people in the black community that have spread their agenda for them. Yeah, so they've been going around saying Tommy Robinson's not racist. Tommy Robinson's not our problem. They only want the Muslims. Why is Ras going at Tommy Robinson? But I swear he just wants the Muslims though. But like when you hear the conversation, you know, obviously Muslims is their obsession. But like when you hear Mark Collette and them, man, it goes much deeper. Yeah, if you don't like it, why don't you fly back to Africa? That's what's gonna see that BVM bar. I call that the BVM bar now. Yeah, that's coming. That's coming. Yeah, you don't like it, go back to Africa. Yeah.
Well, you know what? That could be that's feasible. That's feasible in the sense that, all right, cool. We'll all go back to our own respective countries, but then all of the white people in those respective countries need to leave. Australia, America, Canada, all of these places where white people or Europeans have gone and colonized, they need to leave, and we'll leave and go back to those places. Do you think that is actually ever, in any sense, whoever, even if Tommy Robinson himself is prime minister, do you think that would ever happen?
But that's why he tried to spin the thing where he said, "Oh, we civilized those South Africans. They built it up."
Civilized it far.
So what I put to him is, if Chinese people come and bring a new technology, you know, like some ray gun technology, and they like, you know, like those futuristic cities, they build one of those futuristic cities, but they subjugate you, James Goddard. Would you be cool with that? No. Yeah, and he'd be one of the main people in the underground trying to get the white English people together and say, "We told you they're gonna invade."
What's the name of this channel? Do you know?
He'd be on the front line trying to get the invaders out. He don't care if the invaders brought some new technology. He don't give a damn about that. Yeah? Because your technology came with my subjugation, fam. Yeah? And the technology isn't even civilization. Like he said, these places are not civilized. Fam, I said, I don't think it's civilized to drop bombs on innocent children, fam. But for him, he thinks the West is civilized. I'd say when it comes to war, yeah, for the last 500 years, no one can touch the West. If you're talking about uncivilized wars, like no one can't touch the West. You know what I'm saying? And the Saudi Arabia are in the pockets of America and the West anyway. So if you want to point to Muslim countries, you get me? Like, just remember the United Arab Emirates worked together against Gaddafi, innit? Don't forget that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Oh. Yeah, but it's interesting because in the next maybe 20 or 30 years, with the demand for oil, because everyone's going electric, all this green energy, all the electric cars, etc., etc. It'd be interesting what happens to the Saudi royal family then, because there'll be a lack for oil in the Western countries if that goes through. So we'll see. But what's the name of this guy's channel? Do you know?
He's just James Goddard, man.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go check a look at that still. I'm gonna try to jump on there. Is he still live or?
He don't do live streams like that.
Oh,
like he does like most of his videos are activism or he'll line up like he done the conversation with Mark Collett, or you know what I'm saying. So I think because he thinks I'm becoming Muslim, he's trying to reach out to me just before you know what I'm saying, to try and convert me back.
They've legitimately got a fear. They've legitimately got an Islamophobia. It's like you fear Islam so much. I don't get it. When did this fear come about? Like, how long did Islam existed in England, in America, all of these places? All of a sudden, you're jumping up and down. What's going on?
Hungering tactic, bro. They don't fear Islam, bro. They know the women in burqas ain't done nothing to them. They know that. Yeah, they know that Muslims ain't done nothing to them. Yeah, they know that the ideology of ISIS can only reach as far as 6% of this country. Yeah, and right now there's like even the ideology is like it's minimal. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I say ideology, I'm talking about like them Bob characters. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't going nowhere, fam. Like remember you got sorry, brother. You remember you got aunties, you got uncles, you got children. You're talking about that 6%. Like a lot of these people are just normal. Your doctor, even the Asian guy on the end smoking weed. Like, did you get it? Like they're not. Man ain't politically active out here like that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, he should have the same energy for the fucking Saudis and the Americans and the Zionists that are supporting ISIS. Yeah? What the fuck he coming screaming at us for? What does that make sense? How does that make sense? Go and scream at the people that are funding these people.
Yo, melanated. I didn't get to ask about the brother with the scholarship, because when I said it as my opening statement, he diverted, and then from there he just diverted to Islam randomly. Like, RASPECT, are you Muslim? I'm like, what's that got to do with the conversation, fam? You get me? Anyway, everyone come over, because the other one's live now. Sorry, come over, family. Come over. I'm gonna send out get a hangout or something. Going, I think 1-2 man messaged me on the hangouts. I'm gonna see if they're still about still. But yeah, come over.
I
You get me?
believe, hang on.
Don't worry, don't let Reggie. Don't worry, cuz they're coming for you as well, bro. Don't get it twisted, fam. Yeah, you're part of the problem. Yeah, that's why I told you. The man are going over to Mark Collette and ethno-nationalism, so you can chant all you want, car. It's coming back around to you. Trust me. All of you lot are gonna feel it. Remember I told you. Remember I told you. Well, it's going to be some Muslims to give you refuge as well when the right wing comes for the black people in general. You know what I'm saying? When they decide that, yeah, black people did a knife crime and just the same issue. Yeah. You're going to run in a Muslim man's shop. Reggie, you. Watch. Remember I told you that. And he's going to give you refuge. Yeah? Remember I told you that. That's real life, blood. Yeah, when they killed Edson, yeah, man, then was running into Muslim man shops. Yeah, Muslim man was hitting the high road. Are you mad? I didn't see no right wingers when they killed Edson. Where was the right wingers then? Where was they when they killed Duggan? Huh? I saw Muslims. Huh? Where was they at the Libya protest? Yeah, where was you? I saw Muslims.
You know, the other thing that got me as well when he was talking about drug dealing and all this kind of fuckery. I mean, hold on, wait. So what happens if and when the United Kingdom legalizes cannabis? Then what? It's going to be okay then. I mean, this guy hasn't thought through a lot of the things he's saying. You know that. To be honest with you, he really hasn't.
Even differently from that, yeah. Well, these man are not only like the main like producers and distributors of drugs in this country. Yeah, black youths are at the bottom. Yeah, it goes through one white youth in parliament to a next white youth to his nephew. Yeah, to a couple of his cousins start buying the boxes. Yeah, and then it hits the roads. And even then, there might still be another white guy, like the poor white guys, who are the middleman to the man them on the roads. Like, so you can't tell man about drugs. You can't tell man about guns. You get me? Guns and drugs, because white people at the top of that thing. So why don't we just stop these men from bringing it in the first place, and then we'll stop selling it and using it? Why don't we go to the root of the problem? You know what I'm saying? And all the things that make man even think that that's the only life that man can live. So I showed him we're out here. You know what I'm saying? G Grinders is out here. We're out here. Gang's out here.
I got bitches all on my dick and
These trolls, fam. But yeah. Yo, Lady Spade, these are the man that just make you want to take a shahada. I'm telling you, Lady Spade, yeah. I swear. See the man who just behave the worst with the religion. They're the man that will make you say, yeah, I'm not really sure. You get me? If I want to roll with you, done still, because you done something even wild. You get me?
And that's another thing I don't get. The whole is RASPECT a Muslim? All right. So look, let me ask you something. Let's say tomorrow you became not a Muslim. Let's just say tomorrow you became I don't know. What could you become? Okay, let's say Muslim, right? Tomorrow you become a Muslim. Would you think differently? Would your views and your opinions change? Would you have a different energy about yourself? Or would you still be the same person?
Yeah. Fam, you know where it is, fam. You know where it is, cuz. You know where it is. All right, people, come over to the other side. Come over to the other side. Anyone in this chat will be whacked. Come over to the other side. Come over to the other side. Everyone's over there, man. Come over to the other side.
Well, where's the other side?
No, there's a. Oh no, I'm sending out the StreamYard link, not the YouTube link, like a jackass. I swear, Papa cop hacked man's YouTube still. He's got an eternal spanner that don't go away, bro. And he don't come up in my moderators list. Why man hacked? He's the only one that can share the link. All right, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're live again in the lines then where the vibes don't end. Everyone come over to the other one. Peace to the people that are still here. Yeah.